Alder appeared at the Matheson courthouse in a gray suit, standing side by side with his attorney as he faces one felony manslaughter charge. Prosecutors accused Alder of recklessly firing multiple shots into a crowd at the No Kings protest last June. Authorities say he aimed for and hit Arturo Gamboa, but one of the shots hit Samoan fashion designer Afa Alu, an innocent bystander who died from his injuries. Today, Alder agreed to have his fingerprints and picture taken at the Salt Lake County Jail, after which he'll be allowed to go home. He also agreed to return to court with his attorney on March 20th.
All right, sir, you're good to go. I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Alder could face 1 to 15 years in prison if he's convicted.
That court appearance comes as another man at the center of this case, once treated as a murder suspect, is now cleared completely. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis picks up the story from there.
The morning of the No Kings protest in downtown Salt Lake, Arturo Gamboa chose to attend with his rifle, which sets off the events that led him and Afa Alu being shot. Gamboa was arrested for investigation of murder and held in jail for a week before prosecutors agreed there wasn't enough evidence to charge him. He says he was practicing his Second Amendment rights by carrying a gun to the protest and may continue to do so in the future, but will be more picky about the event and organizers.
The legal picture is coming into focus. One man now charged, another cleared, and a community still reckoning with how a protest turned deadly. We'll continue tracking the court case and any new developments as they come. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
A woman is dead after getting hit by a car in St. George this morning. Sergeant Jeremy Needles with the St. George City Police Department says it was around 700 South and River Road when she crossed the road without a protected crossing signal.
Again, people need to pay attention, look where you're going. I know that a lot of people like to put earbuds and stuff in. Just make sure you're looking both ways before you cross. Even when you have the crossing signal, cars still run red lights. They still don't pay attention.
Needles says they have seen an increase in pedestrian crashes over the last year, and this area in particular is a popular spot for crashes overall. Governor Spencer Cox and veterans advocate Jenny Taylor are helping launch an initiative to help veterans caught up in the legal system. The transition back to normal life can be difficult, and many of them struggle with their mental health. The new initiative gives veterans access to a mentor who can provide support and a potential reduction in charges. We'll go in depth about the specialty court at 12:45. KSL's top national stories. President Trump discussed a political game plan with House Republicans this morning. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the latest on his comments about a potential third impeachment.
President Trump told House Republican lawmakers today that if Republicans don't win the midterms and Democrats take control, then he'll get impeached.
But you got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
The president said he believes Republican policies are better than Democrats right now and seem to question polls.
And it doesn't make sense, because we've had the most successful year probably in the history. They say.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Other national stories KSL is following this hour. President Trump's deployment of the National Guard to New Orleans has entered its second week, and they could stay in the city through Mardi Gras. ABC's Jim Ryan has more.
Before approving the deployment of 350 National Guard troops, President Trump declared that
New Orleans is really in bad shape.
A week into the operation, Trump now says crime is, quote, down to almost nothing. New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick says the numbers were falling long before the Guard arrived.
We're just grateful that crime is down, and I don't care who gets the credit.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. We do have an accident southbound Highway 89 approaching the I-84 junction, blocking a right lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:04.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Sniffles and sneezes got you down? GoodRx is here to help with big savings on commonly prescribed cold and flu meds. GoodRx is free and easy to use. GoodRx is accepted at all major pharmacies like CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. Just search your prescription, find a coupon, then show your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx is not insurance, but it works whether you have insurance or not. If you do, GoodRx may beat your copay price. Download the free app or visit goodrx.com to save today.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Thank you for joining us today for Midday. Recapping our top story, the man accused of killing a bystander in a protest last summer appeared in court for the first time today as he faces a felony manslaughter charge. KSL News Time 12:07. The Salt Lake City Council has a majority women council for the first time ever.
Erica Carlson is the latest member to join the council. She was sworn in earlier this week after winning a seat in the last election. This milestone comes after the council elected its first minority member just 6 years ago. Now 4 of the members are minorities, and 4 identify as part of the LGBTQ+ community. The first council meeting is set for January 13th, and this council hopes to tackle housing, environmental, and other challenges in the city. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Utah County Republican Party is censuring a county commissioner. They accuse Amelia Powers Gardner of misrepresenting where she lives when voting in a special election in 2024. The censure accuses Powers Gardner of undermining the integrity of the party processes. She tells KSL there was no intent to deceive and the issue was just a factual disagreement regarding her address during a transitional period. A member of the Utah State Board of Education has announced that she will not be running for re-election, accusing the board of being a morally bankrupt system. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has more.
Christina Bogus made the announcement last Friday in a post on X where she called the Utah State Board of Education a, quote, broken, corrupt, and morally bankrupt system that no longer serves the children or the families of the state. Kelsey James from the Board of Education says that Bogus is not joined by her colleagues in this sentiment.
Member Boggs' comments reflect her individual opinion and are not the official position of the board. The USBE stands by the work done by our dedicated staff who work tirelessly to accomplish the board's mission of academic and organizational excellence in Utah education for an elevated, educated citizenry.
Bogus concluded her statement by urging Utah parents to pull their children from Utah's public schools. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. Let's check in with Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Crews are still working to clear up this crash in Murray, northbound I-15 approaching 4500 south. All vehicles are out of traffic on the shoulder, so you won't see any slowdowns in the area. Where you will see delays, that's going southbound Highway 89 in the Uinta South Weber area. These delays are due to a crash blocking a right lane approaching the I-84 junction, and right now you have big backups almost to the Walmart. Now, part of that is intersections where you have to wait through the traffic light, but a lot of this is due to having only one left lane of travel open on Highway 89. Your ultimate destination for the hottest new cars and trucks, off-road vehicles, exotics, and more is at the Utah Auto Expo, the 16th through 19th at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets at autoshowutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures today hover up near the 50-degree mark, mostly sunny skies. 35 overnight, mostly clear to partly cloudy. We'll go 44 on your Wednesday, but by Wednesday afternoon late into Wednesday night, increasing showers. Early Thursday, talking about some snow showers that could linger through the day Thursday, high of only 37. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Just a beautiful winter day, blue skies, crisp temperatures, 48 degrees right now in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, we'll check in with KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas about a different man in court today, the man accused of killing Saratoga Springs Sergeant Bill Hoosier. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Are you one of those people who like to start the new year off with a resolution? And is your resolution this year to take off those few extra pounds? I want to talk to you for a minute about resolutions. First of all, without a plan, a resolution has never done me any good. I want to tell you about a plan that's helped me take off that extra weight. It's Salt Lake City Fat Loss. I have lost more than 40 pounds with the help of SLC Fat Loss. You know, it's a great natural program. It helps you drop the weight fast. That means that you're going to stick with it. Plus, there are no side effects, and they have all of the resources you need to be successful. They have a great app. It keeps you accountable, gives you recipes and inspiration, and you can reach out and ask questions at any time. Plus, this plan is a lot less expensive than other plans. You don't have to buy any things like breakfast bars. Right now is the perfect time to start due to the overwhelming demand. Salt Lake City Fat Loss has extended their huge New Year's sale over 20% off, but it's only for a limited time. Now, whether you want to look better or boost your energy or fit better in your clothing or feel more confident or healthier at your age, Salt Lake City Fat Loss works. This huge New Year's sale is ending soon. Schedule your free consultation today at slcfatloss.com. Lock in those savings. slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
the peacekeeper accused of shooting and killing a man at last year's No Kings protest in Salt Lake City made his first court appearance today as he faces a felony manslaughter charge. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, an oil executive says going into Venezuela to fix their oil infrastructure is not an easy task. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Delays southbound Highway 89 in Weber County. It's due to an accident approaching the I-84 junction. A right lane is blocked and it's backing traffic to the Walmart. You may want to consider an alternate route. These delays are pretty stubborn and haven't eased up at all. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry weather expected today with mild highs, then a chance for snow late tomorrow night. I'm Matt Johnson.
Crisp 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen.
Venezuela's government remains in place following the capture of Nicolas Maduro by U.S. forces along with his wife. They're now in the U.S. to face drug trafficking and conspiracy charges. Maduro's vice president, now the interim president, even as the Trump administration pushes for change. There are signs of defiance. A pro-Maduro march taking place in Caracas today. U.S. lawmakers also briefed yesterday on the operation and remain divided on the legality. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Republicans are adamant that the operation to capture Maduro does not constitute an act of war. Speaker Johnson telling reporters that this is not regime change and that he does not expect U.S. troops on the ground, arguing the U.S. will run the country by pressuring the government and blocking its oil exports. Meanwhile, Democrats are demanding answers. Leader Chuck Schumer saying the administration's plan to run the country is vague and based on wishful thinking.
President Trump defending the operation at the annual GOP House lawmaker retreat, calling the operation, quote, amazing. He also took a moment to pause and remember GOP Congressman Doug LaMalfa of California after his unexpected death.
And our hearts go out to his wife, Jill, and his entire family. You know, he voted with me 100% of the time.
LaMalfa's death, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene giving up her GOP seat, shrinks the Republican razor-thin margin for control of the House. The Trump administration announced it is halting some $10 billion in funding for childcare and other social services in Democratic-led states. The 5 Democratic states are being asked to provide attendance records and inspection reports. ABC's Christian Cordero has more.
Funds are being suspended in California, Colorado, Illinois, New York, and Minnesota. The move comes days after the administration said it would pause childcare funding to all 50 states, with funds being released only when states prove they are being spent legitimately.
On Wall Street, stocks continuing the rally from yesterday. You're listening to ABC News.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Bad driving habits are hard to break, but good driving habits are easy to form, especially when they can lead to a discount on your auto insurance. With Farm Bureau Financial Services, the safer you drive, the more you save. Drivers like you are saving an average of $321 per vehicle. So buckle up, learn more, and find an agent at fbfs.com/save. Individual savings results may vary. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Traffic and weather together. It is brought to you by Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We do have an accident in the South Weber Uinta area, southbound Highway 89. Approaching the I-84 junction. It's just a little bit before it. You'll see that a right lane is blocked to traffic. You have some vehicles off the road. It's by the overpass with a left lane open. Traffic is getting by, but doing so slowly. You still have big backups to the Walmart, and we're not seeing any relief there. If you're in the valley, freeway traffic looking pretty good despite one accident northbound I-15 approaching 4500 South Murray, out of traffic on the shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. Quiet today, 49 the high, and mostly clear skies. 44 on Wednesday. Late Wednesday, increasing rain, snow showers. And then Thursday morning, chance for snow showers that could linger through Thursday day, high of only 37. 35, cold and dry on Friday, partly cloudy skies. 37 on Saturday, mostly clear. Haze starting to build in. Inversions settling in place. Sunday and Monday, hazy, highs in the upper 30s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Very nice. 48 degrees downtown. 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Time for the KSL In-Depth. We have a few court cases we've been following today, including a preliminary hearing for Michael Jane. He's the man accused of killing Santa Quin Police Sergeant Bill Hoosier in 2024. KSL's legal analyst Greg Skordas is with me live. And Greg, remind us about the case against Michael Jane.
Yeah, so this is a case that happened in Utah County. He was involved in a chase with a law enforcement officer, a Santa Quin police officer. During the course of that, Michael Jane actually rammed him with his car, allegedly, and killed the officer. It ended up going further than just Utah County. They drove through, I think, Heber City. It ended up stopping it out in the basin, I think, somewhere in Vernal. So this was a long, drawn-out chase. It was a terrible situation. It involved the death of a very, very popular police officer. And because it involved an alleged intentional killing of a law enforcement officer, Utah County is treating it as a death penalty case. It's taken a long time to get to trial because Jane has had issues with his attorneys. He's had arguments with them, and some have come in, some have come back out, and he's had, I think, at least two different sets of attorneys, but we're finally getting to the preliminary hearing stage, which by all accounts in any criminal case is a fairly early stage typically.
Mm-hmm. So what should we expect to see today?
Well, I think the state's going to they have to put on a pretty significant case, not what you'd have for a trial. A trial in this case would take 2 or 3 weeks. Preliminary hearing, maybe half a day. But they'll put on their officers, they'll put on their witnesses enough to establish to a court, to the judge, that there's enough evidence to go to trial. It's a very low threshold. It's a very low, what we call burden of proof. So it's not hard to accomplish, but it does give the defense sort of a snapshot of the case, gives them an idea of what to expect, what the trial's going to be about, and it gives the judge an idea that there's enough evidence to go forward with trial, which there almost always is.
Mm-hmm. So when would we expect this case to go to trial?
You know, it's taken. I think
so
we're 2 years into it already to get to this point. But after the preliminary hearing, things should move fairly quickly. My guess is, since we're still in just January, that the trial will be sometime this calendar year. And again, that would be optimistic, but I don't see any reason why we would go into 2027.
Anything odd about this case? I mean, you mentioned the chase and the other extenuating circumstances, but other than that, anything?
By all accounts, he's been a difficult inmate, a difficult prisoner, a difficult client. He's fired attorneys. He's brought attorneys back in. He's had problems at the jail since he's been there. He's had confrontations with other inmates. So this has been a very difficult defendant for Utah County on a number of levels. And I don't know what his issues are, what's going on with his mental health issues or that, but I do know that this case has been very difficult for the authorities. He has particularly been a problem for them.
All right. Thank you so much, Greg. And again, there is a preliminary hearing today for Michael Jane, and that's KSL's legal analyst, Greg Skordas, joining me live. We'll check your money news coming up next.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KSL News Time, 1224. Lego says they're going to make some new sets high-tech.
They're calling it the Smart Brick, and it's a standard 2x4 Lego brick, just like the ones we've known for decades, but now packed with a tiny custom computer chip. It will include sensors, lights, sound, and even wireless charging. Smart Bricks will detect nearby NFC tags. That means your Lego builds can react in real time as a lightsaber hums when you swing it, engines roar on an X-Wing, or the Imperial March plays when Darth Vader takes a seat in his TIE bomber. The first sets are expected to hit the shelves March 1st, starting with 3 Lego Star Wars kits, priced from $70 to $160.
Chuck Palm says that LEGO calls this their most significant evolution since introducing the minifigures in 1978. Watching Utah's Money, someone made $400,000 betting on the U.S. capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. It was a bet on Polymarket, a crypto-based betting platform. Wall Street Journal says it was mysteriously close to the actual event and is now being investigated as an insider trading scandal. Chick-fil-A is launching its biggest marketing campaign ever, Willy Wonka style. The chain is celebrating its 80th anniversary by offering collectible cups, 3,000 of which will be a golden ticket. The golden cups will grant the buyer free food for a year. Chinese toy maker Pop Mart, the company behind Labubu's, is adding manufacturing plants in Mexico, Cambodia, and Indonesia. Reuters reports it's meant to meet the ever-increasing demand for the blind boxes. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 504 points. That is a full percent, sitting at 49,481. S&P up by 42 points, and the NASDAQ up by 136 points. It's about a 0.5%. Multiple artists are working together to raise money for Sudan. A civil war has led to famine and claims of genocide across the country. The artists include Olivia Rodrigo, The Weeknd, Pink, and SZA, as well as others. Okay, they will be auctioning off meet and greets, signed merchandise, portraits, and concert tickets.
Did you know bad bacteria causes cavities and tooth decay? Did you know bad bacteria feed off residue left by sugary foods and drinks? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters.
Be sure to brush 2 times daily for at least 2 minutes with fluoride toothpaste.
Floss once a day and limit sugary foods and drinks like sweetened juices, candies, and sodas.
Even sugar-free carbonated drinks can be harmful to teeth. Be sure to visit your dentist for regular checkups and cleanings. If you don't have a dentist, visit yoursmileutah.org for more information on community dental services. This message is brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life. Learn more at yoursmileutah.org.
Because your smile matters.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Let's get you up to date with traffic and weather together. Let's check in with Ricky Meese. Anything happening, Ricky?
Well, the good news is in Murray, northbound I-15, the crash has been cleared prior to 4500 South. Really didn't cause any kind of big backups, but we're back to a crash-free commute on your Valley freeways. But we still have crews working to clear an accident southbound Highway 89 approaching the I-84 junction in the South Weber-Uinta area. They've at least opened up that right lane, but residual delays remain. Step aboard history, walk through recreations, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic, the exhibition. Open now at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for mostly sunny skies today and a high of 49, which lies 11 above the normal. Overnight, 35 degrees. We'll jump back up to 44 tomorrow, increasing clouds and showers late Wednesday. Wednesday night into Thursday, chance for valley snow. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
A lot of sunshine, 48 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 1230. KSL's top story this hour. Utah roads are getting safer. UDOT and the Department of Public Safety say there were fewer deadly crashes in 2025 than in the years before. KSL News Radio's Cam Elliott has more.
This year saw 264 fatalities on Utah's roadways, which is down from 13 on 2024 and the lowest it's been since 2019. Officials say, though these numbers may change as they're still under review, they're happy to see a decrease. Unfortunately, there are still concerning statistics in this report, like the 32% increase in motorcycle fatalities and the near doubling of teen deaths on the road. UDOT and DPS say that the best way to stay safe is to play it smart. Stay buckled up, stay sober, and travel the speed limit. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
Debris on the roads is being blamed for killing an average of 72 people each year on U.S. roads.
A new study from the AAA shows road debris caused 319,000 accidents on U.S. roads over a 5-year period.
When you look at our study between 2018 and 2023, so that period of 5 or 6 years, 319,000 crashes, as you mentioned. But here are the numbers that are really disturbing on top of that. 32,000 of them involved injuries, and 433 people lost lives in these.
John Trainer with AAA Utah says a lot of those accidents were caused by people hauling things that weren't tied down, meaning those accidents were completely preventable. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Ancient Romans built structures 2,000 years ago that are still standing. That's because they used volcanic ash called pozzolan in their concrete. Ben DeLynn with the Utah Geological Survey says that same substance could be used here to put an end to potholes.
Going to aid in our roads and transportation immensely. As every Utah knows, potholes are a huge problem, so this will help make roads a little bit stronger.
DeLynn says there are places in Millard and Beaver counties to find pozzolan. Those areas are on school trust lands, and if those sites are purchased by private companies, the money could go directly to fund schools. KSL's top national stories. President Trump is happy with his weekend operation to capture Nicolas Maduro and his wife. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the very latest.
President Trump spoke to House Republicans today and touted the U.S. military operation Saturday in Venezuela, saying it was carried out, quote, brilliant tactically.
It was an amazing military feat that took place yesterday. Think of it, an amazing military.
The president called Nicolas Maduro a, quote, violent guy, but he offered no new details on his administration's plans for Venezuela. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Lawmakers remain divided on the legality of that operation. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Republicans are adamant that the operation to capture Maduro does not constitute an act of war. Speaker Johnson telling reporters that this is not regime change and that he does not expect U.S. troops on the ground, arguing the U.S. will run the country by pressuring the government and blocking its oil experts. Meanwhile, Democrats are demanding answers. Leader Chuck Schumer saying the administration's plan to run the country is vague and based on wishful thinking.
Maduro was in court yesterday and pled not guilty to drug trafficking charges. President Trump is calling on U.S. oil companies to go into Venezuela and fix the country's oil infrastructure. But we are hearing from one oil investment CEO who says it's not something that can be done quickly. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Jay Young's family has been working in the oil business for 4 generations. He's the founder and CEO of King Operating Corporation. It's based in Dallas, and he tells inside sources going into Venezuela right now, it's a big task.
There's a lot to that. There's a tremendous amount of time, energy, money, infrastructure, people. It's not like you just go in and go, oh, okay, we have a lot of people here. Hey, go drill this well for me over here.
He says George Bush had a similar ask for companies to go into Iran back in the 90s, and it didn't go that well. Overall, he says, over time, yes, U.S. companies could rebuild the Venezuelan oil system. It just won't be quick, and who knows how long it will take before they actually turn a profit. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Other national stories KSL is following. The former Uvalde School District police officer is in court today. Adrian Gonzalez was one of 370 law enforcers who responded to the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School. ABC's Jim Ryan has more.
The families of many of the 21 people who died in the massacre have made the 200-mile trip to Corpus Christi for Adrian Gonzalez's trial. Anticipating an emotional case ahead, Judge Sid Harrell laid down some ground rules.
If there is an outburst, there's not going to be warnings. It will be removal for the remainder of the case.
Prosecutors will try to prove that then Officer Gonzalez so bungled the response to the shooting at Robb that it was literally a criminal act. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
First look traffic. What's going on, Ricky?
We do have a report of a new accident, this time in Utah County, northbound Redwood Road, right around 4th North at Saratoga Springs. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
I wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
The Movie Show is at Minky Couture in Layton this Friday, January 9th from 11 to 1. Join KSL News Radio and Minky Couture and get special discounts and savings on your favorite Minky Couture products. Looking for something beautiful and cozy to add to your home these cold winter days? Minky Couture is the answer. Cozy, soft, a color for every room in your home, and always the best blanket ever with Minky Couture. The Minky Couture Valentine's Day collection is here. If you're a Minky Couture collector, you'll not want to miss out on this year's limited edition blankets. They're the perfect way to say I love you. Get yours today before they're gone. Save 55% this Friday only. For the Movie Show in Layton, use code MOVIE55 at minkycouture.com or at any of the 6 Minky locations. Again, join us this Friday at Minky Couture in Layton, 1782 Woodland Park Drive. They've got you covered this winter season at Minky Couture, home of the best gift ever. minkycouture.com. That's minkycouture.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story, Utah reached a 6-year low with traffic fatalities last year. 264 people died on Utah's roads. KSL News Time, 12:38. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the CDC are eliminating 6 vaccinations from the list of long-standing recommendations for children.
The CDC announcing it's further reducing the number of vaccines it previously recommended for children, effective immediately from 17 to 11. That means the CDC will no longer recommend that every child gets shots for rotavirus, hepatitis A and B, meningitis, RSV, and the flu. The CDC now advising the rotavirus and flu vaccines should only be given to a child if a doctor recommends it. The changes were made without an independent review.
That is ABC's Rhiannon Alley reporting. If you've contracted the flu, KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports you already know that this year's strain is no joke.
The flu has mutated, and now the strain is called the subclade K. You get all the classic symptoms of fever, cough, and sore throat, but Pamela Gomez, respiratory epidemiologist with the State Health Department, says this one lingers and the fatigue lasts longer. She recommends getting a flu shot, even if it's not perfectly matched, especially for those at risk for severe symptoms.
And so even though it's still helpful to get the flu vaccine and it still can reduce your risk of severe illness, it may cause your body to take a little bit longer to react.
Gomez says there have been no reports of subclade K in Utah yet, but that could be a testing issue. She says if you feel sick, see your provider to be tested and get anti-flu medicine, which needs to be administered within the first 2 days of the illness. Then stay home to recover. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
Last night's Antiques Roadshow premiere highlighted a book worth $100,000. The discovery happened during filming here in Salt Lake City. The book is an original 1937 copy of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit.
I've only gotten an appraisal that high twice in 20 years with Roadshow.
The appraiser was Ken Sanders, owner of Ken Sanders Rare Books in Salt Lake City. He says the book jacket featured a typo. That's the giveaway that the book was one of the originals. Sanders advised the book owner to go buy a fireproof case to keep the book in and to put it somewhere safe. Traffic and weather together. Ricky Meese is in the KSL Traffic Center.
Right now, we are looking at a quiet drive on your Salt Lake County freeways. If you happen to be traveling I-15, you're good to go both directions in Weber, Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah counties. We had an accident reported in Utah County, northbound Redwood Road, on the exit ramp at 4th North in Saratoga Springs. It had been blocking that ramp. I'm not able to see it in the traffic cameras, so I can't tell you much more about it other than just keep an eye out for emergency crews at the scene. And we have leftover delays from the earlier crash that had a right lane blocked on southbound Highway 89 in the Uinta area prior to the I-84 junction. The big backups are clearing. They're just not completely gone at this time. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dialing up a dry Tuesday for you. Highs will top out near 49 degrees, more than 10 above the normal with mostly clear skies. Overnight tonight, 35, mostly clear to partly cloudy. We bounce back to 44 Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday late, we've got showers increasing. Those could turn to snow showers early Thursday morning. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's sunny and 48 degrees downtown. Coming up on Midday, a new specialty court in Weber County is focusing on helping veterans. We'll hear from a judge on that court. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
When you crash your car, you get it fixed. When your computer crashes, you get a new one. But what will you do if you've been saving in a 401k or an IRA and the market crashes? If you're in your 30s or 40s, you'll be just fine. But if you're in or near retirement, you could be in trouble. Mike Stevens and his team at Capital Wealth Advisors are here to help. They can run a risk analysis to see if you're too heavily invested in the market. Don't let the ups and downs of Wall Street control you or your retirement dreams. Call 801-210-5500 today to schedule your risk analysis with Mike Stevens and the team at Capital Wealth Advisors. That's 801-210-5500. Crashes happen. Question is, are you ready? Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
We're at that time of year where we're thinking about a fresh start for your body and your mind, and those two are really connected. And I learned that when I started my soda weight loss journey. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
Yeah, I did 37 pounds in about 3 months. And that was coming up on 4 years ago now. I feel so great knowing that I still now have access to a nutritionist anytime I need to text her.
It's a lot more simple than you think, and it fits right into your real life. They tailored it to my specific needs. I get up super early. So they said, okay, we're going to have you eat at this time. We're going to have you eat these things. That's what I needed. I need guidance. I don't do this well on my own.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had great success.
12 months from now, you're either going to wish you had started soda or you're going to be really proud of yourself for doing this.
So take advantage of their promotional offer right now. You join, a partner joins for free. You get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
Don't let January be so stressful that you don't do the most important thing for your health, soda weight loss.
Go and see the proof yourself at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
KSL News Time 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the man originally arrested and held for over a week after shots were fired at the No Kings protest march says he doesn't plan to file any civil lawsuits. I'm KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis.
Second, health officials say a new strain of the flu that's spreading quickly through the country takes a lot longer to recover from. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
You do have a nice and quiet drive on your Salt Lake County freeways, still seeing some heavy and slower speeds southbound Highway 89 from the Walmart down to the I-84 junction. But all lanes are open from the earlier crash near the overpass. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny skies in the wake of yesterday's storm, but another one brewing for Wednesday night. I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, and time for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. After U.S. forces carried out a military operation to remove Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro along with his wife, the U.S. now facing international backlash from both allies like France and foes like China and Russia, calling it an invasion. Today, President Trump, speaking to House Republicans at their annual working retreat, defended the move.
It was an amazing military feat that took place yesterday. Think of it. An amazing military.
A new Reuters Ipsos poll finds 72% of Americans are concerned the U.S. will become too involved in Venezuela, and nearly half of Americans oppose stationing U.S. military in Venezuela. A special congressional election to fill the seat vacated by now former U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has been set for March 10th. Greene stepped down her last day yesterday. In Maine, state prosecutors announced Bitcoin Depot, one of the country's top cryptocurrency kiosk vendors, has agreed to pay the state nearly $2 million as part of a settlement to compensate victims of fraud. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The new specialty court in Weber County is being started that focuses on helping veterans. The model of Veterans Court is not new to Utah, as other counties have created similar projects in the past, but it is a new opportunity to reduce recidivism among Weber County veterans who may be facing troubles associated with returning home. Utah Judge Craig Hall says that this won't just be a court system reserved for veterans. It's a court system tailor-made to encourage veterans success.
Many people assume that it's just a regular court only for veterans, and it is not that. So, for example, in a criminal court, we have a prosecutor who wants a conviction and a sentence. On the other hand, we have a defense attorney who wants the precise opposite of what the prosecutor desires. It's a very adversarial process, and in the end, there's either an acquittal or a conviction. And if there is a conviction, then there's a sentence, and often incarceration for months or even years. But for Veterans Court, after a pretty rigorous screening process, if a veteran qualifies for and agrees to the program, the veteran typically enters a plea, usually a plea in abeyance. At that point, they begin the Veterans Treatment Court, which typically lasts between 18 and 24 months. The legal incentive for the veteran to join the program is if they graduate from the Veterans Court, the veteran can have their charges either reduced or possibly even dismissed. So it's a huge benefit to the veterans. It's something that we can do to help the veteran population. And like I said yesterday, it's just ironic that we've had these veterans courts throughout the state, but we have not had one close to Hill Air Force Base. If there's anywhere in the state that should have a veterans treatment court, it's here in Ogden next to Hill Air Force Base.
Judge Hall wants it to be absolutely clear. Just because it's made for veterans, it's not easier for them.
Some people have the mistaken impression that veterans court is easier than probation, and in fact, it's probably harder than probation. It's more intensive, but it is so specialized for veterans. As you mentioned, the mentors, they're one of the most essential members of the court. The program recognizes that there are just some things that only veterans understand.
Governor Spencer Cox has endorsed the program, saying it builds purpose, identity, and community. Traffic and weather together. Ricky Meese is in the KSL Traffic Center.
We had a report of an earlier accident that had blocked the exit ramp from northbound Redwood Road at 4th North in Saratoga Springs. There's no camera that I can see. Well, there's a camera in the area, but it's not showing me anything where there could be an accident. So maybe that's been cleared. And if you're traveling any of the Valley freeways, you're good to go. We still have just a little bit of busy traffic left over on southbound Highway 89. This is as you're going towards the I-84 junction, but the bigger delays have cleared. Common Spirit Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. We got a 49 dialed for today. Mostly sunny skies, quiet. Tomorrow, 44, increasing showers. Some could produce some rain-snow showers late Wednesday. Thursday, AM snow likely, lingering into the afternoon, high of 37. 35, partly cloudy skies on your Friday. Saturday, mostly clear, 37, but haze building. More haze likely as inversions settle into the valley floor. Sunday and Monday both, with mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
A lot of sunshine, 48 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the market, seeing a lot of positive numbers. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time, 12:54. A movie telling the inspiring true story of a local Utahn is hitting theaters this month. It's a T.C. Christensen production with Jared Hess, who directed Napoleon Dynamite and the Minecraft movie. Standout tells the story of Farmington man Ben Kerr and how he became a world-class wrestler despite being born with Cruzon syndrome.
I heard that you have a goal to be an All-American college wrestler and a world champion. I said, yeah, doctor, that's the case. He's like, tell you what, I've never done surgery on a future world champion wrestler. I'm going to get you wrestling before you know it.
Standout won one of the most prestigious awards at the Sundance Film Festival and went on to win awards at every other film festival it entered across the country. It hits Cinemark theaters January 23rd in Utah, Arizona, and Idaho. Watching Utah's Money. Another product from Bath & Body Works is going viral, and this time it's a candle that smells like pizza and ranch. The company had a decent 2025 report with mixed results, but will now focus on making its digital and physical stores less overwhelming. Tax season is near, and as just a reminder, taxes for 2025 are due by April 15th of this year. Employers have until January 31st to send out your W-2s. The beer company Anheuser-Busch InBev is investing $3 billion in its U.S. metal container plants. The Wall Street Journal says it will bolster supply security. It's actually a repurchase. The initial sale of the 49.9% stake was back in 2020. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 477 points, about a full percent, sitting at 49,454. S&P up by 42, and the Nasdaq it's up by 144 points. The Stranger Things finale is boosting streaming for a few songs featured in the episode.
Purple rain, purple rain.
Songs are by Prince. Variety says Purple Rain has seen a 243% increase, and When Doves Cry increased 200%. Same thing happened back in 2022 when the show featured Kate Bush's Running Up the Hill.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. Be the someone who gives their time. Be the someone who lends an ear. Be the someone who takes a step. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN, asking you to join the fight against sexual violence and volunteer in your community. Log on to RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org, to learn how you can be the someone.
This message brought to you by the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network and this station.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
KSL News Time, 12:59. That means time for traffic and weather together on the 9s. Any trouble spots, Ricky?
No, and despite a bumpy start to our noontime drive, we are wrapping up on a quiet note. Valley Freeway traffic rolling along and looking good. No accidents, no delays there or on the main secondaries. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Headed for a high today of 49 degrees, and we are almost there. Tomorrow, 40% chance of showers, 70% chance of showers on Thursday. The temperature really dropping out on Thursday, where the high will only be about 37 degrees. And then it looks like we stay in the 30s through Sunday of next week. Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, a lot of sunshine, 48 degrees. Taking a look at some of the other temperatures around the area. Provo's at 50, St. George at 52, Vernal at 39. Ooh, Park City cool, 33 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A once peaceful protest turning deadly last year on the streets of Salt Lake City. Innocent bystander Afa Alu shot and killed during the chaos that ensued.
The peacekeeper accused of shooting and killing a man at last year's No Kings protest in Salt Lake City made his first court appearance today as he faces a felony manslaughter charge.
The time is 1 o'clock on Tuesday, January 6th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has been following the hearing. He will join me live with an update, plus what possible prison time Matt Alder could face if convicted of the deadly shooting. Also this hour,
it's been remarkable because we're seeing almost a 20% increase beyond what was distributed last year, what's going to be going to the schools this year.
A record investment in Utah's public schools this year thanks to an increase in land grant funding. We'll get insights into what that means for your kids and how it would help in the classroom. But first, our top stories. Breaking news, the ACLU of Utah is suing the state over a law requiring public schools to remove books that discuss sensitive or inappropriate topics. If 3 school districts decide a book should be banned, schools all over the state must remove it from their libraries. The new lawsuit, filed on behalf of 3 authors and 2 anonymous Utah students, says portions of this law violates the First Amendment. Now, this comes after 3 new titles were placed on a banned book list, including Perks of Being, A Wallflower, and Wicked. Now, the life and times of Wicked Witch. Peacekeeper accused of shooting and killing another man by mistake at last year's No Kings protest in Salt Lake City appeared to be before a judge for the first time this morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Please tell me your full name.
Matthew Scott Alder.
Matthew Alder was volunteering as a peacekeeper at the protests last June when prosecutors say he shot at another man carrying an AR-15, hitting a bystander. This morning, Alder waived his right to a speedy trial and agreed to have his picture and fingerprints taken at the Salt Lake County Jail. KSL's top national story from ABC News. President Trump is praising the operation over the weekend to capture Nicolas Maduro and his wife. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
President Trump spoke to House Republicans today and touted the U.S. military operation Saturday in Venezuela, saying it was carried out, quote, brilliant tactically.
It was an amazing military feat that took place yesterday. Think of it, an amazing military.
The president called Nicolas Maduro a, quote, violent guy, but he offered no new details on his administration's plans for Venezuela. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Maduro was in court yesterday, and he did plead not guilty to drug trafficking charges. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 502 points, more than a full percent, sitting at 49,479. S&P up by 44 points, and the NASDAQ up by 147 points. Traffic and weather together on KSL News Radio. Ricky Beese is in the KSL Traffic Center.
It is a delay-free drive on the Valley freeways, but in Utah County, we do have an accident eastbound Main Street at the I-15 junction. You'll see a vehicle off the road, and we're still waiting for more emergency crews to arrive. And then downtown, crews are wrapping up a crash at 6 South and 200 East. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Blue skies, a lot of sunshine in downtown Salt Lake City, 49 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not-so-wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho! And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250.
Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company. Pure Talk.
Every January, Duke's Jewelers celebrates another year serving the Springville community. And this year, they're doing it in a big way. It's the anniversary sale. And for 3 days only, January 22nd through 24th, all jewelry in the store is 50% off. That's right, half off everything in the case. Diamonds, gold, colored gemstones, signature pieces, everyday favorites. If it sparkles, it's on sale. And that's not all. For those dreaming up something one of a kind, special orders, custom design projects, and all watches are 25% off. Duke's Jewelers is proud to be a fourth-generation family-run business, and this sale is the Duke's way of saying thank you for supporting local, choosing Main Street, and trusting Duke's Jewelers with your most meaningful moments. But don't wait. These savings last just 3 days. January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville and shop the biggest sale of the entire year. Duke's Jewelers. Elevate every moment. Some exclusions apply.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Movement today in the case tied to a deadly shooting at a No Kings protest in downtown Salt Lake City last year. The man accused of taking the fatal shot that killed Samoan fashion designer Afa Alu making his first appearance before a judge this morning. Afa was an innocent bystander caught in the chaos, all unfolding within just a matter of seconds. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has been tracking the movements today, and he joins me live. So, Eric, this all goes back to June. Remind us what happened on that day at the No Kings protest in downtown.
Maria, this was supposed to be a peaceful protest last June, but things escalated quickly. One man showed up openly carrying a rifle. People panicked and shots were fired. In that chaos, Samoan fashion designer Afa Alu, who wasn't involved in any confrontation, was struck by a bullet and later died from his injuries.
Now, fast forward to today. Who's facing charges and what are prosecutors accusing them of?
Absolutely. Prosecutors are charging Matthew Alder, who they say was acting as a peacekeeper at the protest. They accuse him of recklessly firing multiple shots into a crowd. Authorities say he was aiming at another man, but one of those bullets instead hit Afa Alu, killing him.
Okay, you were tracking this for first court appearance today. What happened when he stood before the judge?
Yeah, this was a procedural hearing today. Alder appeared in a gray suit, standing next to his attorney. He agreed to be fingerprinted and photographed at the Salt Lake County Jail. And then after that, he's allowed to go home. He'll be back in court with his lawyer on March 20th.
Now, if he's convicted, what kind of prison time could he be looking at?
So because it's a felony manslaughter charge, as far as I can see, he could face anywhere from 1 to 15 years in prison.
All right. Now, this case also involves another man who was initially arrested, Arturo Gamboa. Get us up to date. What happened with him?
Absolutely. So Gamboa was actually the first person arrested in all of this. Police initially booked him on suspicion of murder, even though he never fired a shot. He spent about a week in jail before prosecutors ultimately said there wasn't enough evidence to charge him and cleared him completely.
Explain why he was arrested in the first place if he didn't fire his weapon.
So it really did come down to confusion at the scene. Gamboa was openly carrying a rifle, and in those chaotic moments, investigators were trying to sort out who posed a threat and who didn't. As the evidence came together, it became clear he wasn't the shooter.
Now that he's been cleared, what is Gamboa saying about protests going forward?
Sure. So he says he was exercising his Second Amendment rights by bringing a gun to the protest. He hasn't ruled out attending future demonstrations, but he says he'll be more selective about the events and the organizers.
So let's step back for a moment. What does this case show us about how quickly situations can escalate when guns are present at protests?
Maria, I think it shows just how fast things can spiral. You know, when firearms are introduced into emotionally charged situations, even split-second decisions can have irreversible consequences. And in this case, it cost an innocent bystander his life.
So what happens next, and what will you be watching for us as this case moves forward?
For sure. So the next big date is March 20th when Matthew Alder is due back in court. We'll be watching how prosecutors lay out their case, what evidence they present, and how this all continues to unfold for the family of Afa Alu.
Thank you, Eric. That is KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera. We'll continue tracking the court case and any new developments as they come both on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. Utah schools receiving a record-breaking $134 million this next year. Thanks to a voter-approved amendment, the Land Trust program can now distribute 5% of their revenue to schools. Kim Christie is the director of the Utah Land Trust Program and Advocacy Office, and he tells KSL TV's Debbie Worthen that the scale of the fund's growth is nothing short of remarkable.
It's been remarkable because we're seeing almost a 20% increase beyond what was distributed last year, what's going to be going to the schools this year.
And that's for a good reason, though, because of some legislation that happened, right?
Yes, a constitutional amendment that was actually created by the voters a year ago last fall in the election cycle. The voters actually supported the idea of changing how the distributions are going out to the beneficiaries. And that's one of the major contributing factors on why we're seeing a surge in the distributions that are going to the schools this year. It's an increase from what was last year at about 111 million to 136 million going to all schools this year.
Christie says the way the funds are used is a bit unique, with local community councils determining the best way to use the money depending on the needs of individual schools.
It's really based on a unique model that the legislature had the foresight to create clear back in the late 1990s. And that is the creation of what we call community councils. Virtually every school in the state has a community council made up of parents, teachers, principals, who actually sit down and determine what the unique needs are for that specific school. As you know, each school kind of has its own unique needs, and this is a model that no other state in the nation actually employs. It was done, again, to the foresight of the legislature and other advocates of the trust system. It's kind of the Utah way. We're doing things differently, but in a very, very productive way.
Christie says it's also important to note that no taxpayer funds are used for this program. The land grants help to supplement traditional education funding. In Sevier County, School District Superintendent Dr. Kay Douglas says that the land grant funding has been pivotal for improving Utah's public education system. Now, he says in his district, they'll be using the money for intervention and innovation for essential skills like reading.
You know, if you look at the state of Utah in education, we've done very, very well. U.S. News and World Report, it's quite well known throughout the state that Utah ranked number 2 in the country last year in public education. We slipped to number 4 last year. We've consistently been in the top 10 for years. And I would credit our ability to do so well. So much of that is tied back to trust lands because it allows us to intervene with students that are struggling, provide programs, interventions, even just basic reading when students aren't reading at home, or, you know, many of our students in Utah, their parents are both working, or we have single parents that are working 2 jobs, and we check in with them at our schools. These funds allow us to hire people to come in and read with students, which is so simple, but yet so important to get students on grade level by 3rd grade. The interventions are endless, and they are working. I would really credit. We need to thank our legislature for funding public ed. They've done an excellent job over the years. But these additional trust land funds that don't come from taxpayer dollars are what keep us on the cutting edge for innovation and intervention in the state of Utah. It's that powerful.
Christie says much of the success of the program can be directly attributed to the management of the fund. He says the team overseeing the accounts do a really thorough job to make sure the funds are used appropriately and efficiently. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Did you know bad bacteria causes cavities and tooth decay? Did you know bad bacteria feed off residue left by sugary foods and drinks? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters.
Be sure to brush 2 times daily for at least 2 minutes with fluoride toothpaste.
Floss once a day and limit sugary foods and drinks like sweetened juices, candies, and sodas.
Even sugar-free carbonated drinks can be harmful to teeth. Be sure to visit your dentist for regular checkups and cleanings. If you don't have a dentist, visit yoursmileutah.org for more information on community dental services. This message is brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life. Learn more at yoursmileutah.org.
Because your smile matters.
An average of 72 people killed each year on U.S. roads. That's thanks to debris. A new study from AAA finds that over a period of 5 years, road debris caused 319,000 crashes on roads across the country.
So when you look at our study between 2018 and 2023, so that period of 5 or 6 years, 319,000 crashes, as you mentioned. But here are the numbers that are really disturbing on top of that. 32,000 of them involved injuries, and 433 people lost lives in these. These are very serious things. This was, if you break it down by year, that's about 53,000 crashes across the country every year, and that means about 72 deaths each year. These are really unfortunate accidents, and they are all avoidable.
John Trainer with AAA says a lot of those accidents were caused by people hauling things that weren't tied down, meaning those accidents were completely preventable.
A lot of times what we think about are those tire blowouts where you see a piece of tire on the roadway or maybe a piece of a vehicle on the roadway, or you follow closely to a construction vehicle and you might get rocks or things like that falling in the background. But a lot of what we see are unsecured loads. They're people who are transporting a large number of items, whether they be lawn equipment or furniture or things they bought at a hardware store, maybe trash that they're carrying around in a pickup truck where that is not secured. And one bump or maybe a little bit of speeding, something that is unsecured, can get taken by the wind and land on the roadway.
Trainer tells KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff that regardless of whatever state you're in, you have to have your load tied down in some fashion.
There are secure your load laws in every one of the 50 states. And I think what we really wanted to highlight, or what is highlighted in this, is just how dangerous it is to not follow those laws. That is one of those laws that you may not be aware of in your own state. You might not be aware of until you get cited for it, if you do get cited for it. But the reality is these laws are put in place because these are dangerous behaviors. And if you have a large number of items in the back of your pickup truck while you're driving around, it doesn't take much for something to fall on the roadway, and for another driver who is either unaware of what's coming in front of them, does not expect to see something like a grill like happened to your daughter in the middle of the roadway, and might not have time to avoid it. These can be either costly repairs or worse, very dangerous accidents.
Trainer says there are a few things everyone on the road can do to prevent deadly crashes due to debris.
One, there's the driver and what they could do if they are transporting a load, and we have tips for them. But there's also tips for drivers who might be in the roadway, especially if you spot a car that might have a large amount of debris or items in the bed of the truck. First of all, give space. If you give more space between you and the car in front of you, you have more time to respond as a driver if you notice something fall out of the back of that truck. And that can be critical. The second thing we want to do is watch out for road debris. Keep your eyes on the road. We talk about distracting driving a lot, and distracted driving is obviously a danger when it comes to other vehicles in the roadway, but it can really help you identify, and it's critical to identifying things in front of you so you can take evasive maneuvers safely. We want to warn others. If you see things in the roadway, honk, use your headlights, get the attention of drivers behind you, or drivers may be coming the other direction. And you want to keep your vehicle maintained properly. And this might help you avoid being one of the people who drop things in the roadway. It's not always things in your pickup truck. If you have a car that is not well maintained, tires or pieces of your vehicle can become debris in the roadway. When I mention that leaving room in front of you or better spotting things in the roadway, that's because swerving is also a dangerous thing here. If you do not give yourself adequate time to maneuver around debris safely, you can have a reckless move, swerving at high speeds, which can cause rollovers. And if you wonder how significant that is about half the related deaths to road debris, not just striking the debris in front of you, but reacting at a high speed or in a dangerous way and causing another accident or crashing your own vehicle while trying to avoid that debris.
That is John Trainer with AAA. We'll get the full report up on our website, kslnewsradio.com. As we hit the 5-year mark of the deadly attack at the U.S. Capitol, we're taking a look back at how the story has changed over the past few years and what that means about the response and remembrance moving forward. That's coming up next, but first, it's KSL Traffic. Ricky?
We do have an accident in Utah County eastbound Main Street at the I-15 junction. We've had lanes blocked. You're able to get through the area. You just do need to use caution when doing so. Valley Freeway traffic accident-free and delay-free. Your ultimate destination for the hottest new cars and trucks, off-road vehicles, exotics, and more is at the Utah Auto Expo, the 16th through the 19th at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets at autoshowutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you, like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
We're at that time of year where we're thinking about a fresh start for your body and your mind, and those two are really connected. And I learned that when I started my soda weight loss journey. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
Yeah, I did 37 pounds in about 3 months. And that was coming up on 4 years ago now. I feel so great knowing that I still now have access to a nutritionist anytime I need to text her.
It's a lot more simple than you think, and it fits right into your real life. They tailored it to my specific needs. I get up super early, so they said, okay, we're going to have you eat at this time. We're going to have you eat these things. That's what I needed. I need guidance. I don't do this well on my own.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had great success.
12 months from now, you're either going to wish you had started soda or you're going to be really proud of yourself for doing this.
So take advantage of their promotional offer right now. You join, a partner joins for free. You get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
Don't let January be so stressful that you don't do the most important thing for your health, soda weight loss.
Go and see the proof yourself at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
All right, Utah, this is your shot. KSL and Ivory Homes are teaming up to send you to the big game in Santa Clara on February 8th. To qualify, just stop by any Ivory model home between now and January 31st. Walk through and ask about Ivory's super low loan rate discounts and free upgrade packages. Start now at ivoryhomes.com/super. That's ivoryhomes.com/super.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Today is January 6th, 2026, the 5th anniversary of the deadly attack and riots on the U.S. Capitol. Over the past 5 years, there have been hundreds of committee meetings to investigate what happened on that day, vigils and memorials to honor the brave law enforcement officers who stood their ground and defended the building and Congress. With half a decade in the rearview mirror, it's interesting to see how the narratives around January 6th have changed from both sides of the aisle. Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo has been digging into the way that the messaging surrounding the day has changed, and she joins me now on Midday. Hi, Cami.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Lay out for our listeners, first of all, how are the Democrats and the Republicans both trying to change the narrative of what happened that day?
Absolutely. So as you were saying, 5 years into this, there is still not one dominating narrative to what happened that day or what caused the events. You're seeing Democrats who immediately after the attack were able to pin the blame on President Trump. Since then, President Trump has had a revival in the political world. Republicans have now tried to reframe the narrative that there were inner workings and political biases within law enforcement that caused security failures. And that's really the fighting narratives that you're seeing right now.
It sounds like lawmakers, though, want to reopen hearings into January 6th. I mean, what have they been saying about this renewed effort?
Republicans are pushing forward to have another select committee investigating January 6th. They approved that committee late last year, although they haven't held any hearings yet. Democrats, as we know, already had a committee back in 2021 and 2022 that investigated January 6th. But this new committee is going to be investigating what that committee did, basically saying that that committee was created just to blame the entire day on President Trump and was politically motivated.
You know, at the time this was happening, many Americans watched or listened to the events with a bit of shock that something like this was going on. Now, the country seemed fairly unified on what happened right after, but why has that changed over the last 5 years?
It seems that, this is situation, a lot of Republicans thought that it would push Donald Trump out of the political sphere, but instead he somehow kept his hold on the party. And since then, a lot of those Republicans, including some who are now in his administration, have changed their tune on what exactly happened. The White House has put up a new website today, basically reframing what happened on that day, saying that everything that happened was against Trump and against these who he calls patriots who marched to the Capitol and were set up by Capitol Police. And so for some reason, there seems to be a competing narrative that what happened is not what we all saw with our own eyes.
So let's talk about the memorial plaques that have popped up around the Capitol building. An official plaque honoring the police who defended the Capitol was supposed to have been installed by now, but it's not. Any news on where that plaque ended up?
It seems that the speaker has come out this week saying that the plaque, even though it was, the resolution that created the plaque was passed by Congress and signed by President Biden, they're now saying that it did not go through the proper channels and the proper jurisdiction. So if they want that plaque put up somewhere, Speaker Johnson is saying that Democrats will have to go through committee hearings and to develop a framework that gives it a proper vetting and consideration that he says it did not get the first time.
Okay, so talk to me about these makeshift plaques that have appeared outside of 100 Congress members' offices instead.
Yeah, so the plaque that it was approved and was actually created, it's not sure where the location is. Some reports are saying that it is in storage. So instead, these Democratic lawmakers have printed out large copies on paper or cardboard, and they put them outside of their offices. As you can walk through the office buildings, you see where these different Democrats have their offices, and it's sitting right outside. You have a lot of Democrats who did that starting last year because this plaque has not been put up in the proper honor.
Give us your thoughts on this culture of forgetting or changing the narrative of what happened on a particular day. I mean, it's not a new thing. People have done it throughout history, but do you think this is a more special circumstance?
I think it's an interesting circumstance because it was so recent and it was so online that, everybody knew what had happened. Everybody had seen some form of photograph or video. And what's interesting is that in this situation, it's not just being forgotten, but the actual events of that day are being changed or misconstrued in some ways. So you're having lawmakers who were actually there. Some, again, are now serving in the Trump administration, where their words are kind of being flipped around, where back then they said that this was the fault of President Trump, now saying that maybe there was something else going on.
We mentioned the 100 Congress members who have put up those plaques. Are they doing anything else to hopefully or to possibly change the narrative back to what actually happened that day?
Democrats did have a special hearing earlier this morning where they brought back some of the victims of the January 6th riot, or they brought back some of those former police officers, because, again, they want to keep that narrative that they already cemented back in 2021, that this was the fault of President Donald Trump. That's what they're saying. They're trying to keep that narrative. As Republicans reinvestigate with this new committee, they say they're going to keep trying to keep that onus on the president, even as Republicans try to bring up new evidence.
Now, what did the Capitol Hill law enforcement officers think?
You see a lot of former police officers who actually had resigned because of the events of January 6th. Many of them were at this Democratic hearing earlier today where they're saying you can't forget what has happened. You have a lot of those former police officers who are pushing Republicans to put that plaque up that we were talking about earlier. It seems to them that a lot of them don't want to, have the blame on them, even though that's the message that the president is sending right now.
Yeah. It's not political when you're blaming law enforcement officers, right?
Right,
taking it out of, it's not Democrats and Republicans, it's now law officers that are being blamed.
Absolutely, yeah. And these are the people, who are here protecting lawmakers of both parties every single day.
I appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me, Cami.
Yeah, thank you.
That is Cami Mondo. She's the Deseret News congressional correspondent joining us on the anniversary of January 6th. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Renewing your prescriptions could become easier here in Utah, thanks in part to a new partnership between the state and an AI company. As the CDC makes several changes to the childhood vaccination schedule, what do parents need to know? And KSL traffic, Ricky.
An easy and quiet drive on your Valley freeways. Maria?
Well, the weather is easy today, but things could change big time tomorrow. We're expecting some snow showers. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Health and Human Services says it's freezing $10 billion worth of funding for child care and social services in California, Illinois, New York, Minnesota, and Colorado, accusing the 5 Democratic-led states of possible fraud without providing evidence. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says it adds more strain to families.
Child care costs are up almost 5% in the past year, and that's compared to overall prices up about 2.5%. And what that really shows is that child care costs are going up faster than a lot of people's paychecks and wages. So when we're thinking about this affordability debate, child care is one of the places that families consistently say is a pain point.
After the military raid in Venezuela, ousting Nicolas Maduro, the Trump administration working to meet with oil representatives this week to discuss Venezuela. That according to 2 sources familiar with the talks. President Trump insisting that U.S. oil companies will begin to reinvest in Venezuela. On Wall Street, stocks are up, driven by optimism of oil profits. This is ABC News.
KSL's top story this hour. Following the operation over the weekend to capture Nicolas Maduro and his wife, White House is now asking U.S. oil companies to go into Venezuela and rebuild the country's oil infrastructure. But an oil executive tells inside sources it's not a simple task. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Jay Young is the founder and CEO of the King Operating Corporation, which invests in oil and gas. And his family has been working with oil for 4 generations. But he says he won't be jumping in at the chance to go to Venezuela. And something like this has been tried before.
George Bush did it with Iran back in the 90s. We thought that there was going to be so much oil coming out of that country that we were just going to be flying high.
In the end, it didn't turn out that well. He says going into Venezuela will take a lot of money and time. It takes big teams of specialized workers and lots of equipment to drill new wells and build rigs. He says, yes, U.S. companies could rebuild the infrastructure, but it's not a quick fix. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. A woman is dead after getting hit by a car at a popular St. George intersection. Sergeant Jeremy Needles with St. George City Police says that she was probably in her 50s and was crossing without a protected crossing signal.
This intersection is one of the highest in St. George as far as accidents goes, crashes go. And that is just sheer to the volume, right? There's only a couple ways to get down into the southern part of the city. This is one of those, and so we do have a high amount of crashes here.
Needles is asking the public to please pay attention even when you're the one crossing. Flu is always a serious illness, but a new strain that's circulating now is strong and lingers longer. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi has more.
If you catch the flu, you can expect to be laid up for a while, but if you get the new subclade strain, you'll feel lousy even after your symptoms of fever, cough, and sore throat subside. State health officials say there have been no reports of the new strain yet, but it's only a matter of time before it hits the Beehive State. They recommend going to the doctor to get tested and get medicine if you feel sick.
It's not known exactly how much longer you'll feel sick if you get the subclade K strain. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up at this hour 501 points. It sits at 49,476. S&P up by 43. The Nasdaq up over 0.5%, up 140 points. Traffic and weather together. Here's Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you're traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways, good speeds and no problems. In fact, I-15 seeing a nice drive both directions between Willard Bay and Utah Lake. We do have the final cleanup of an earlier accident eastbound Main Street at the I-15 junction in Santaquin in Utah County. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High today of 49, 44 tomorrow. That 40% chance of showers comes back tomorrow, and then a 70% chance on Thursday. Right now, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Renewing your prescription medication could soon get quite a bit easier. Utah becoming the first state in the nation to safely evaluate and implement autonomous AI for prescription renewals for chronic conditions. Director of the Utah Office of AI Policy, Zach Boyd, tells me that the state has entered a first-of-its-kind partnership with AI platform Doctronic to provide the service.
You know, everyone's been kind of trying to figure out what the right ways are for healthcare to be accelerated and advanced by AI. And so, you know, Doctronic has had this tool online that they've used to kind of be, you know, they call it your AI doctor, but really it's a tool that helps you explore your health and understand symptoms and arrive at possible diagnoses and then forward you to a doctor after that. Well, and that's been going for a long time. They came to us with this idea that they basically thought their system was good enough to do certain routine prescription refills for people, like fully autonomously. And that was, you know, a dream they wanted to chase. There's obviously regulatory issues with that because, you know, there's a reason we have licensed physicians do some things. And but on the other hand, you know, there's this huge problem of medication non-compliance, which is the technical term for just like when people don't take the medications they need to. And this causes tons of problems downstream, right? Leads to emergency room visits and further complications. And so anything you can do to make it easier for people to take their medications for chronic conditions is like a really, really big deal. And so basically we worked out an arrangement with them to give them a temporary exemption from our usual laws around this so that their system can actually just fulfill prescription refill or prescription renewal requests for Utah patients without a human in the loop eventually. Now, it would be a journey to get there. At first, there's going to be a human kind of overseeing everything always in the background, and then over time, we kind of take the human slowly out of the loop a little bit more as safety is established. But they want to try this, and the state is supportive because if they can pull it off and safety is established, then it'd be a huge benefit for Utahns.
Yeah, describe how this could change healthcare.
Well, I mean, I think everyone has a potential here for positive change. People who are on medications, it could be much less hassle for them to get their medication refills. Also, AI doctors have all the time in the world, whereas human doctors are rushed. So we've heard kind of anecdotal reports that it's actually more satisfying to get a prescription refill from this AI because, the doctor has all the time in the world to explore your problems and stuff. And so that's kind of nice for patients. We think the cost could be very low and you don't have to go to a physical location. For providers, for doctors, this is not the best part of their job, right? This is an administrative task. And if it can be offloaded, that's really great because then they can focus on being with people more and doing the hard parts of their profession. And, pharmacists also have this problem all the time where people go to the pharmacy and they actually can't get their refill like they wanted to. And, there's this possibility of saying, oh, we'll just go see the doctronic doctor and they'll have an interview right now and we can figure out if a refill is appropriate. So I think everyone stands to benefit from this if it works as intended.
What does this mean for the state who wants to just be on the forefront of AI policies?
Well, I think regulators in every industry, healthcare, financial services, education, they're always in this tough spot of they don't want to allow anything until it's gold standard, definitely safe and perfect. But the problem is you can't figure out what the gold standard is except by doing stuff. So I think what really makes Utah innovative in this way and kind of puts us ahead of other states is that we have this model of granting an exemption, doing a targeted study, because we're going to be collecting data and outcomes through this whole thing. So that at the end of this, we'll be, after the end of a 1 or 2 year trial of this, we'll have this robust body of data-informed best practices for how to do this that you just can't get without these, real-life deployments. So I think that's really helpful for the agility of Utah.
Yeah. Are there some safeguards in place?
Lots. Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest safeguard at first is the human in the loop factor. So for each medication type, there's first a phase of the human has to check off the prescription reauthorization before it's cleared. And then there's a period after a while of the physician will have to check off after the fact, kind of like how if you have a resident physician, their supervising physician has to approve everything after the fact. And then over time, we're going to just have the human physician spot check issues, right, as safety is assured. And we're tracking things like, are people actually taking their medications? Are they showing up in the emergency room at some time after? So maybe there's something to investigate. They're tracking whether too many prescriptions are being agreed to or too few are being agreed to. And so we've got metrics along the ways and, humans in the loop at different phases. And we've also retained, the company has all its experts, but we also have our background independent experts who are not financially involved in the company, who are also reviewing the deployment plan and reviewing the evidence that we're gathering. So that's kind of because our goal at the end of this is not just to let their product out, it's to understand how you do this safely so that it can scale and be permanent if it works. Everyone wants the healthcare system to be easier to deal with and more personalized and cheaper, and this could be that. We're gonna see, right? This could be part of the solution to that huge problem in people's lives.
Zach Boyd is the director of the Utah Office of AI Policy. He says the system has already begun filling prescriptions. More health news with Midday returns in just 60 seconds.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Major changes are coming to kinds of vaccines. The kinds of vaccines that children receive and the timeline for when they receive those shots. The Department of Health and Human Services announcing the changes to the long-term standing vaccination schedule for America's children. So, what should parents know about the changes? ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula shared some insights on today's Good Morning America.
This is a big change, and I think it's going to potentially cause a lot of confusion. And so what the CDC is now saying is they are removing universal recommendations for certain vaccines, things like the flu virus, COVID, RSV, rotavirus, hepatitis, and meningococcal vaccine. They're really going to group kids into 3 categories. So they're going to be children and the vaccines that all children should get, children that high risk and the vaccines that they should get, and then vaccines that should be discussed as a shared decision making with your provider. And for example, the flu would fall into that category, which of course is concerning for a lot of people who are seeing these rising flu cases right now. Bottom line, the government is saying they are basing this on data and research, what other countries are doing. People here in this country in the medical profession, groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics are calling this dangerous. The Infectious Disease Society of America really also speaking out against this, and many other groups saying it's very concerning, and I think it is going to potentially be scary for a lot of parents who may not know what to do. Talk to your pediatrician.
But does this affect whether insurance companies will pay for the vaccines?
They say it will not, but I think we don't know for sure. Certainly there is that concern and that fear.
ABC News health and science reporter Mary Kikatos shared some additional specifics about the changes on Utah's Morning News.
There are a few vaccines that are no longer universally recommended, and immunizations as well. This includes RSV, flu, COVID, and hepatitis and meningococcal vaccines. And if your child does not fall in a certain high-risk group, then no vaccine is recommended before the age of 2 months. So that means no hepatitis B birth dose, no RSV immunization, which is, of course, protects against that really infectious and fast-spreading disease. So those are some of the changes that were made to the vaccines right now. If there are going to be future changes, that remains to be seen. But those are some of the starkest contrasts between the old schedule and the new schedule.
She says several health organizations and doctors' groups are concerned about the changes.
So doctors are expressing concern about the change that the CDC made to the childhood immunization schedule. They're saying that cutting the number of vaccines that are universally recommended for children was done without a review from independent experts. It was done without months of debate. It was done without a real discussion about the benefits and drawbacks of changing that schedule. So they're definitely concerned that if kids do not receive those vaccines that were previously universally recommended, or they don't receive vaccines at a certain age, that it could lead to the spread of diseases. They're also saying that the schedule was changed to match peer countries as reported by the CDC. But they're saying that this isn't really a fair way to do so. They're saying that the U.S. is very different. It has a different spread of diseases. It has a different access to health care. So making the vaccine schedule the same way that it is in Denmark or other countries just doesn't account for the many factors that make the U.S. so unique. So a vaccine schedule for the U.S. needs to be tailor-made to the U.S.
Like Dr. Narula mentioned earlier, Kakato says vaccinations no longer on the schedule will still be available if your pediatrician thinks that they would benefit your kids. But there are still plenty of questions remaining, especially regarding insurance coverage of the vaccinations, seeing this changing guidance.
So it's not a mandate in these schedules. So parents could, in an ideal world, be able to get these as long as they talk to their family doctor, their healthcare provider, their pediatrician, to be able to get those vaccines. It doesn't mean that the vaccines will no longer be made available, but there are concerns about, for example, insurance coverage. So the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees CDC, which made that vaccine change, officials in that department are saying that there are going to be no changes to insurance coverage for these vaccines. However, However, doctors are a little concerned because typically insurance covers vaccines based on what the CDC recommends or at what age the CDC recommends. So they're concerned that if a vaccine is no longer covered by insurance or no longer covered at a certain age because it's no longer recommended, that could lead to out-of-pocket costs. But it really remains to be seen. However, that is one thing that is definitely sparking some concern about availability.
The Department of Health and Human Services and the CDC say they are now working with state health agencies, physicians groups, and other partners on the next steps for education and implementation of the new schedule. After the break, have you taken down your Christmas tree yet? If not, you might want to pretty soon. More on how the tree's leaves or needles actually are changing, making your house a potential tinderbox. But first, it's KSL traffic with Ricky Meese.
We do have a nice and quiet drive on our freeways and main secondaries. The earlier crash that we had in Utah County eastbound Main Street at the I-15 junction in Santaquin in the final cleanup stages. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
You've been telling yourself for quite a bit now that you want to take off those extra pounds. I want to tell you about a great program, and it's Salt Lake City Fat Loss. And this program helped me lose more than 40 pounds. And I'm telling you, if you don't have a plan, it's really difficult to be successful. I tried for years. I'd lose a few pounds. It would take me weeks to lose a couple pounds. I get very discouraged. This is an all-natural plan, and it helps you drop the weight fast, and that means that it's easy to stick with. And plus, there are no side effects. Their app has great resources. It keeps you accountable, and it offers you daily inspiration and recipes so you don't get bored with your food. And you can ask any questions at any time on their app. Right now is the perfect time to start. Due to the overwhelming demand, SLC Fat Loss has extended their huge New Year's sale over 20% off for a limited time only. So whether you want to look better, boost your energy, fit better in your clothes, you want to look at this plan. It's SLC Fat Loss, and it works. And the huge New Year's sale is ending soon. Schedule a free consultation today at slcfatloss.com. Lock in the savings at slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Let's go! You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Not trying to be a Grinch or anything like that, but it might be time for you to take down your Christmas tree, especially if it's a fresh one. Turns out those fresh trees, full of needles, sap, and wonderful smells, could now be creating a big fire hazard in your home. In fact, today is National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day. National Fire Prevention Association says if you haven't already, now is the time to take it down and throw it out.
A third of all Christmas tree home fires occur in January. And that's largely because if you think about it, Christmas trees are large combustible items in your home. And especially for fresh Christmas trees, the longer in your home, the more they dry out. The more they dry out, the more flammable they become. And if you've ever seen a dried out Christmas tree lit on fire, it goes up in seconds.
Susan McKelsey is with the National Fire Prevention Association. She says there are a number of things that cause the trees to catch fire.
It could be if the lighting, if there's lighting that's not working properly and there's some sort of electrical short. Sometimes people have electrical equipment, things like space heaters, too close to the tree. Things like a candle could come in contact with it. There's really a variety of scenarios that could start a fire, but really anytime you have a heat source that's too close to the tree, you present the risk of fire.
McKelsey says the fire risk increases each day. And get this, more Christmas tree fires in Utah don't happen in December. They happen in January.
On average, between 2020 and 2024, there were each year 143 home fires involving Christmas trees. So that's not a huge number in itself, but if you consider that trees are in our homes for just a relatively small amount of time of the year, it is a notable problem. The other thing is the death rate for home fires involving Christmas trees is much higher than it is for other types of home fires. So even though Christmas tree fires don't happen often, when they do, they tend to be more serious.
McKelsey says there's a variety of reasons why this type of fire burns rapidly, making it deadly.
Today, you have as little as 1 to 2 minutes in a typical home fire to escape from the time the smoke alarm sounds. So in a Christmas tree fire situation, you've most likely got a serious fire in your home very quickly if a Christmas tree ignites. And because you have such a small window of time to escape safely, if you've got a serious fire, the likelihood of being able to do so diminishes dramatically.
Susan McKelsey is with the National Fire Prevention Association. The American Red Cross says you should check with your local waste management company to see if they offer tree recycling or curbside pickup. And they remind everyone that you should never put your Christmas tree in a fireplace or a wood stove, as the oils in the wood can cause dangerous flare-ups and chimney fires. When was the last time that you saw or used a phone booth? It's probably been a while, right? Well, there's a new traveling phone booth making its way around the country right now, letting users leave messages of kindness and encouragement for complete strangers.
Say something nice.
Say, I love you.
You may remember our story from last year about a Portland nonprofit recording messages of encouragement from thousands.
When I started listening to the audios, I knew, wow, this is something that people are going to resonate with.
I spoke with Kayla Lamoureux last March after her organization called Wildly Kind
I just want to let you know that I love you so much.
set up a phone booth at a festival with a prompt to, quote, leave a kind, anonymous message for a stranger who may be struggling. Soon, videos with these recordings started picking up millions of views online.
A lot of people said, I feel lonely too. I feel what you feel. I am struggling and you are not alone.
Well, we have an update for you.
We are the stars that make up each other's constellations.
First off, Wildly Kind is just wrapping up a national tour of their A Call for Kindness campaign with stops in Denver.
I hope you have a good day. I love you.
Minneapolis.
A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles.
And Chicago. How did they all compare?
People are struggling kind of across the board. Like, that's not specific to a region. And people are looking for a lifeline. They're looking for that little piece of hope.
But as of Christmas Day, Wildly Kind has now also launched a hotline you can call, which has already received hundreds of messages. Here's the deal. When you call, you can either listen to recorded messages from strangers or leave your own. It's only been a few weeks, but one anonymous caller sounded moved to tears from the messages.
I just listened to all those messages. Wow, it's so powerful. Thank you, everybody who has called this number.
So the number is 503-850-2263. And by the way, Kayla's actually working on more Call for Kindness stops this year in New York, Orlando, and Seattle.
And that is ABC's Danny New reporting. Coming up in the next hour, Midday, we'll get details on the state's newest Veterans Treatment Court and how it's helping our veterans heal and move forward. You'll want to stay with us for more on that.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Utah's newest head football coach about to take the podium for the first time since taking the role from Coach Witt. This hour, we are set to hear from Coach Morgan Scally for the first time as head coach of the Utes.
Scally's remarks come following several other changes within the team, including the departure of several assistant coaches, those who followed Coach Witt, and a few team members putting their names into the transfer portal.
The time is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, January 6th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll bring that news conference to you live as soon as it happens. Also this hour,
people, need to realize that it takes as many service companies, vendors, to drill an oil and gas well, to complete one, and especially the fracking, and to produce these wells as it takes to build a house.
President Trump says American companies will take over Venezuelan oil infrastructure, but what will it take to get there? We'll get some insights shortly. But first, our top local stories. The peacekeeper accused of shooting and killing another man by mistake at last year's No Kings protest in Salt Lake City appeared before a judge for the first time this morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Please tell me your full name.
Matthew Scott Alder.
Matthew Alder appeared at the Matheson Courthouse in a gray suit, standing side by side with his attorney as he faces one felony manslaughter charge. Prosecutors accused Alder of recklessly firing multiple shots into a crowd at the No Kings protest last June. Authorities say he aimed for and hit Arturo Gamboa, but one of the shots hit Samoan fashion designer Afa Alu, an innocent bystander who died from his injuries. Today, Alder agreed to have his fingerprints and picture taken at the Salt Lake County Jail, after which he'll be allowed to go home. He also agreed to return to court with his attorney on March 20th.
All right, sir, you're good to go. I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Alder could face 1 to 15 years in prison if he's convicted. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. President Trump discussed a political game plan with House Republicans this morning. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the latest on his comments about a potential third impeachment.
President Trump told House Republican lawmakers today that if Republicans don't win the midterms and Democrats take control, then he'll get impeached.
But you got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
The president said he believes Republican policies are better than Democrats right now and seem to question polls.
And it doesn't make sense, because we've had the most successful year probably in the history. They say.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Breaking news. We are bringing you that news conference. The head coach of the Utes, Morgan Scally, has stepped to the podium.
Morgan Scally.
Head coach in waiting. And his track record awfully impressive across multiple fronts as a recruiter and a play caller.
Yeah, Morgan Scally's a great player, but he's a coach. He's competitive maniac. He understands the game. He was a coach on the field. Incredible leadership. He elevated those around him. Utah's in great position for years to come.
My job is continue to maintain and strengthen the culture that we have. I truly believe that culture does matter, and we're going to get the right guys in this program.
He's been revered as one of the best defensive coordinators in America for a lot of years. Grew up just a couple miles from Rice-Eccles Stadium here. He is everything that the Utes are all about.
A quick video before today's press conference. Press conference coming to you from the University of Utah, where the crowd is now cheering as Morgan Scally does stand at the podium.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here today. At the University of Utah, we strive for excellence in everything we do, and University of Utah athletics is no different. So many opportunities are given to young men and young women to strive and succeed on the field, and it's that energy that we all watch that brings us together as a community. Utah football is woven into the fabric of our community as well. And we are thrilled that today one of our own, Morgan Scally, has stepped up and is going to be our new head football coach.
This is University of Utah President Taylor Randall.
Morgan shares our values, he shares our history, and even more importantly, he's got the brains and know-how to succeed in this new era of college athletics, and I am confident that we have the right man for the job at the right time. So thank you very much for taking this assignment, Morgan. Liz, we want to welcome you as well. We know that this is a family affair, and we know that you and your kids will be an incredible support to him and his biggest supporters on and off the field. So we want to welcome Liz and the family today as well. I would be remiss if I also didn't mention Morgan's predecessor, Coach Kyle Whittingham. Kyle's impact on this university was broader than just victories on the field. It also impacted us as a community. And he set a high standard, a standard that we know Morgan will exceed. And we appreciate Kyle Whittingham's legacy, and he will forever be a Ute. Finally, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to Mark Harlan, our Director of Athletics, for not only overseeing this transition in football, but also being an innovator in this very tumultuous time of college athletics. We are very, very fortunate to have Mark leading the transformation of not only all of our sports, but also the business model and what we are as an organization in athletics. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here today.
Well, this is one of those rare and special days where we get to witness somebody's dream coming true. Today we welcome and formally introduce Morgan Scalley as the 24th head coach in the history of University of Utah football. There's no one better prepared or better suited to take the reins of Utah football. He's a Utah man through and through. I have had the great fortune of being the voice of the Utes for 17 years, and every single one of those years has included working with Morgan Scalley, whether it was as safeties coach or defensive coordinator and now head coach. So now, let's welcome to the stage the man who will introduce formally Utah's new head football coach. In his 7th year here at Utah, he's guided the Utes to new heights in the classroom and in competition. 32 conference championships, we'll add to that. 48 NCAA tournament berths in 10 different sports. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Director of Athletics, Mark Harlan.
That was the voice of the Utes, Bill Riley.
Five ski championships, I do believe, Mr. Eccles. You're welcome. Thank you. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us on this historic and very exciting day for the University of Utah as we officially welcome Morgan as our new head football coach. Your presence here reflects the great admiration and appreciation we all have for Morgan. I'm sincerely grateful for all of our student athletes, some of whom are here. If you could raise your hand. Thank you guys for being here. Second day. No one's missing class right now. Our coaches that are here, our staff, our faculty, our donors, and alumni and fans, you guys are what make this place so special and allow us to succeed. We can succeed at the highest level in all our sports because of you. I also want to specifically thank Jeff Rudy. Jeff, are you here? Probably hiding in the wings as normal. Jeff Rudy is our amazing football overseer of football. You can imagine he's been very busy, even right now looking at his phone because he hates when I call him out. Thank you, Jeff Rudy. Anybody with 2 first names is dangerous. It's the same with Rudy. Of course, without the tremendous leadership of President Randall, none of this success is possible. Thank you, President, for everything you do. And our late night phone calls, trying to figure it all out, I'm very grateful for. I also want to recognize Spence, who's here today, and remind you and your family, you are the foundation. You laid all of this out for us. Your leadership, your passion, your investment is why we're all here. We're very, very grateful. Thank you. And Chairwoman Eccles is here as well. And she's been incredible as we've gone through this transition, and your passion for athletics and this university is I'm very grateful. Thank you. I, too, want to recognize Kyle Whittingham for all that he has done for the University of Utah, for this athletics department, certainly the football program, the university, and I would argue the state of Utah. He established a legacy here that will stand the test of time, and we really do want to wish Kyle and Jamie and the entire family the success on their next adventure. I, too, Liz, want to welcome you and your family. Thank you. And the one thing I would say in advance, thank you for sharing him with us, because obviously we're very appreciative, but can't wait to spend time with you and your family. Andrew seems to know everything about roster developments before his dad does. So I've learned to just reach out to you if I can't get something from you. Thank you guys so much. So moving forward, when we talk about a Utah man and the attributes, it's hard to imagine somebody as uniquely equipped and suited for this role as Morgan Scalley. He has proven over and over again that he is not only prepared and ready to lead, but will excel in taking over our storied football program. Let me tell you this, nobody prepares like Morgan Scalley. He loves the University of Utah, and the bond runs deep throughout his family for generations. Can I have the Scalleys raise their hand real quick? Appreciate all of you.
Raise them high.
This is Ute Athletic Director Mark Harlan, who is speaking right now.
Forgive me for singling anyone out, but Bud, who played here, who was better, you or Morgan? Bud. And Bud, you didn't say anything, but I heard it. Sorry, Morgan. I love it. But like I said, he loves this university, and you can see why. The generations that have attended this university. University of football head coach is more than a job. It is personal for Morgan. I'm not going to take the time to share with you all of the success as a student athlete and a coach, and certainly as a player, because many of you could recite that with Morgan. But I'm going to tell you this. I've had the opportunity over my 8 years here to witness the way Morgan leads young men and mentors them. He handles success and adversity at an elite level. He is always, always prepared, organized, and leads with confidence. His composure, his clarity, and certainly we saw some of those results last Wednesday night in Las Vegas, didn't we? Today officially begins a new chapter in Utah football, and he is ready. As an organization, so too we are ready. This department and this university will continue to provide the resources needed to attract and retain the best talent and the best coaches. I can assure you of that. We will compete for championships in the classroom, in the community, and certainly in competition. We will build this brand consistent with the aspirations of this incredible institution under the leadership of President Randall. So today, we gather to celebrate one of our own. So with no further delay, I'd like to introduce to you, and President Randall, if you could join me, the 24th head coach of the University of Football program, Mr. Morgan Scally.
Taylor Randall and Mark Harlan giving Scally a t-shirt. I think I'm not sure if it's a long sleeve t-shirt, but it has the number 25 and his name on it. Big red one with big white letters.
Rojo. Two things I want to clear up. I'm really not that smart. They talk about my brains. I'm not that smart. I've got a bigger heart than I do a brain. I'm just grateful for people that have surrounded me that make me look smart. And my best recruiting job is sitting right here.
Morgan Scally getting
I'm
a bit
a baby.
emotional.
You're going to see that today. I'm a baby. But man, our team's going to rip your face off. Okay? And the second thing that was said is no one prepares better than I do. I do not have a prepared speech, so congratulations. So I'll be off the cuff. I am grateful to my Savior, Jesus Christ, not ashamed to say that, who sacrificed for me, has led me in this direction. Didn't know that I really wanted to get into coaching, and so I've led my life based on a belief that He will lead me, He will guide me. And based on the Spirit, it has brought me to this place where I can give and serve and love. So grateful for this opportunity. My name is Ford Morgan Scally. Some of you don't know my first name's Ford. Ford is my father's name, my grandfather's name. And I always wanted to play here because of my dad. Grew up, he played for Ray Nagel. You know, I was born in the Wayne Howard years. And Chuck Stobart after that, who I didn't really know I was too young. But once Fossil hit the ground, that's when I was coming to games. And I was running the tunnels, and I had my Little League jersey on so I could get in for free. Okay? And I'm one of you. All of you that are sitting in here that went through the same thing, I'm a fan. I'm a Ute. Have been, forever will be. And when that time comes and I'm done, okay, someone else will step up. I understand that. okay? It's not about me. It's not about one person. It never will be, okay? It is about these guys. It is about the players, okay? And players win championships. Teams win championships, not individuals. So while my name is going to be out there, and this is history, and I get it, and I love it, it's all about the guys that I grew up watching, okay? And my dad is number one in getting me here. Bud, I love you. My middle name is Morgan. That is my mom's maiden name, Claudia Jean Morgan. And her father, Nick Morgan, was a huge Ute supporter. Okay, he's the bleacher quarterbacks that he started. I guess it was forerunner for the Crimson Club. And my grandfather, Nick, passed away before I could even meet him. And so one of these days I will meet him. And he's watching right now. So, Grandpa, I love you. Mom, thank you. Thank you for letting me do this. She didn't want me to play football. I don't know. I don't think you can do it. You know. Yeah, you were wrong. But you want to know where I get my crazy side? And you play it, Jono, the singing, the dancing, all that crazy crap I do. That's Claudia. Okay. That's Claudia, and the combination of my family, all Utes, so grateful for you, and being there for me, and the ones that sacrifice the most right now that don't get to see Dad as much as they would like. Emma Jean, okay, Maddie, Andrew, love you guys. We're gonna make this special. You got me? Okay, thank you for letting me do this. Okay. So grateful. Just had a family full of people that have helped me along the way and just forgiven me for all the crap I do, And so this is my history. I'm a Ute, and I was recruited by a guy by the name of Ron McBride. I never thought I was going to get an offer to the University of Utah. Don Eck was the O-line coach at the time, and he came to Highland High School and, just kept talking to Coach McBride. I like this kid. What there was to like, I don't know. But I waited and waited and waited, and Utah was the only place I ever wanted to go. And I didn't care about any other scholarship offers. I didn't get many. And then Ron brought me up to the facility, which was a shell of itself back then, but brought me up to the facility, sat me down, offered me a scholarship, and I'm sure wanted to say, you think about it, and I didn't allow him to say another word. I said, I'm in. I'm in. Yeah. And just have had an unbelievable group of coaches that have led me along my way from high school on up. Tom Kingsford, Larry Gelwicks, Larry Wilson. I've had some really good coaches. That some are here today, and I love you. And Ron took a chance on me, and, every time I'm going through something or he can tell, Utah had a bad defensive game, this guy reaches out to me. And one of the best recruiters, the best recruiter I've ever known, okay? Love you and grateful for you. Ron recruited me as a wide receiver. I was a running back in high school, wanted to be a running back, wanted to follow up my dad. And that wasn't a good thing, okay? Because there was a lot of depth at running back at the University of Utah at the time. They switched me to wide receiver, and I didn't learn how to catch the ball with my hands. I was a body catcher. I went to the first spring workout, off-season workout. Ryan Breska was a quarterback, and I started catching footballs from Ryan Breska, who, if you knew Ryan Breska, he threw every ball like it was a fade, a 5-yard hitch, as hard as you could throw it. And he was awesome. He's a baseball player. I came away from that practice so tattooed, bruised, and I came home and my mom's like, "What did they do to you?" So I had to learn to be a wide receiver, and I don't know that I ended up learning to be a good one. And there was a coach there, Bill Bush, who saw something in me as well. And grateful for Bill Bush for having a vision. You guys that we've asked to change positions, okay? Jackson Benny, okay? We do it a lot here at the University of Utah. I didn't want to change, okay? Bill Bush said, you'll be an all-conference safety, and I laughed at him. Said, there's no way. And I sat down with Kyle Whittingham, and he shared the vision as well. And Kyle said, Morgan, we want you to play safety. We think you could be an unbelievable one. I said, Kyle, it's always been my dream to play running back here, to follow up my dad. He said, Morgan, it's always been my dream to play center field for the Angels, but that's not going to happen. Fair enough. I wish I had made the change sooner, because I loved the safety position. Kyle Whittingham, Bill Bush allowed that to happen, made that happen, and Kyle Whittingham has given me chance after chance after chance for my entire career. I love Kyle Whittingham. And I know he's going to be successful wherever he goes. I know he's at Michigan. He's going to be amazing. I'm grateful for the chances he's taken on me, for mentoring me, tutoring me, breathing life into me when I didn't necessarily love football. And I was asked to change positions. So I've had great coaches that have helped me understand the beauty of this game. I don't believe at the end of my life God is going to ask me, Morgan, why didn't you score more touchdowns? You know, why didn't you win more games? He will ask me, how did you serve? How did you give? Did you love? Did you honor your wife and your family? Did you take care of them? Right? And so in the grand scheme of things, this game is very insignificant, but at the end of the day, it is a very significant school in what it has taught me about life and what it takes to be successful in life. There are many titles that you men will hold, and I know you know this by heart, don't you, Rabbit? Okay? And the number one title you will hold will never have anything to do with football. That title is father. And the goal here is to create great ones. We will teach them skill sets and mindsets in this game. And if the only skill sets we teach are how to become a better football player, we are failing them. Because at some point, no one cares about your 40 time. No one cares about how high you can jump. That skill set runs out. There are so many more things that we teach you guys, right, about what it takes to be successful in life that go beyond the game, the transferable. That's why I coach. Yes, I'm competitive. Yes, I want to win every game by 50. Yes, we're going to teach and we're going to scheme and we're going to be the most innovative and on the edge, on the cutting edge of being the best, okay? But we want you to become great men, great fathers. Don't we, Nate? My man. I've been through a ton of transition here at the University of Utah. When we went from the Mountain West Conference, okay, and we were playing, and I remember playing in front of, I think, 15,000 fans. Would have been my sophomore year, UNLV. And all of a sudden, you know, in comes Urban Meyer, another guy that I love and respect and infuses, you know, passion and energy. And that stadium, when we played Cal in 2003, when the fire chief was like, what are you doing? This is not right. It's illegal. Urban was like, I don't care. And kind of, it was amazing. I still, to this day, in that game, you had Alex Smith versus Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Then the running back for Cal fumbled in that game. I picked it up, and Aaron Rodgers tackled me. That's my claim to fame. I have been tackled by a future Hall of Famer. The fact that he's still playing now, I don't get it. I don't get how he does it. But watching him try and escape outside the other day, I was like, okay, yeah, you can't do it. Bless his heart. He can throw, though, can't he? And all of a sudden, the passion and energy for football. And you saw that, we go to the Fiesta Bowl, and all of a sudden Kyle takes over, and, he does his thing. He puts his own stamp on the program. The Sugar Bowl, that was my first year as a full-time coach in 2008. We went undefeated. I'm like, this is easy. Man, being a coach. And grateful for Derek Odom, our new safeties coach. Had Derek not left the program, I would not be here, because I took over for the safety spot. And my wife was like, you've got your business degree, okay, figure it out. And so anyway, great. Thank you, Derek, for leaving. That's why I'm bringing you back, my man. You're a stud. And then the transition into the Pac-12, and it just has gotten better and better and better. And the goal now is playing in January and getting the national championship. And I'm not ashamed to say that. We can do it here at the University of Utah. We're going to do it here at the University of Utah. I've always believed that. Don't know that I wanted to be a coach, but again, the more I saw the beauty of what is taught in this game, the more I wanted to become a coach. And I love to teach. These guys know this. Sometimes I talk too much, which is what you're getting right now. But I hope that everyone understands what it's going to take to get there. It's going to take all of us, okay, and then some. Grateful for young men that buy in, that want to be a part of a legacy, right? That want to do this and do it the right way. We are going to be smash mouth. We're going to score, and we're going to play great defense. And I can't wait to get this thing going. I've already done a press conference, by the way. I don't know. This is like number 2. I feel like Costanza, we went 1-0. It's like, should I just go out like on top? George Costanza, that whole thing. But anyway, to the donors, to the boosters, the people that have believed in me, Spence Eccles, man, thank you for your belief in me. The Board of Regents, thank you for your belief in me. And I'm going to pour everything I have into this program and make you proud. Okay? To President Randall, to Mark Harlan, to Jeff Rudy, you guys that have been side by side, helped me along this transition. Let's go do this. Let's go do it. Thank you so much. Go Utes.
And you've been listening to a news conference from the University of Utah. The University of Utah introducing its new football coach at this hour. Athletic Director Mark Harlan calling it a new chapter in Utah football, also saying that the U is ready to provide resources necessary to attract the best coaches and talent. Coach Morgan Scally emotional as he took to the podium today saying, yeah, he's a baby, but man, his team is going to rip your face off. Scally also saying football is not about a coach, it's all about the players, and voicing his respect and love for Coach Kyle Whittingham. And he says he wants to win every game by 50, but saying the University of Utah program is more than that. He will teach skill sets, mindsets, but also wants his players to become great men. And it is 2:30 at KSL News Radio. Midday at KSL. President Trump says American companies will take over Venezuelan oil infrastructure, but what will it take to get there? A new veterans treatment court opening in Utah will get details on the unique way it helps veterans heal and move forward. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
A new crash on I-15 in Sandy blocking traffic. Maria?
But first, let's take a look at KSL's top local stories. If you have contracted the flu, KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports you already know that this year's strain is no joke.
The flu has mutated, and now the strain is called the subclade K. You get all the classic symptoms of fever, cough, and sore throat, but Pamela Gomez, respiratory epidemiologist with the State Health Department, says this one lingers and the fatigue lasts longer. She recommends getting a flu shot, even if it's not perfectly matched, especially for those at risk for severe symptoms.
And so even though it's still helpful to get the flu vaccine and it still can reduce your risk of severe illness,
it may cause your body to take a little bit longer to react.
Gomez says there have been no reports of subclade K in Utah yet, but that could be a testing issue. She says if you feel sick, see your provider to be tested and get anti-flu medicine, which needs to be administered within the first 2 days of the illness. Then stay home to recover. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Another Utah Mammoth player will be competing in this year's Winter Olympics. Goaltender Karel Vejmelka will be representing the Czech Republic. He joins the captain, Clayton Keller, who will be on Team USA, and defensiveman Olli Mata, who is playing for his home country of Finland. Taking a look at your money at this moment. The Dow ending the day up by 485 points, nearly a full percent, sitting at 49,462. S&P 500 up by 42 points, and the NASDAQ up by 151 points. Traffic and weather, let's check in again with Ricky Meese.
We do have a crash on northbound I-15 right across from the mall at about 106 South. Right lanes are blocked, and we're still waiting for more emergency crews to arrive. With those right lanes blocked, we do have delays stacking into Draper. Join Lagoon's construction team and help build fun. Lagoon's hiring full-time, year-round CDL heavy equipment operators, concrete finishers, and plumbers 18 years or older. Apply at lagoonpark.com/jobs. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You can expect these warm temperatures to start dropping over the next few days. Today, we are at 52 right now. Tomorrow, the high 44 degrees. Thursday at 37. 70% chance of snow showers on Thursday. 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical, and I'm humbled to win Utah's Best of State for 2025 for the 15th year in a row. After 28 years, we're all about you. Over 1,700 5-star Google reviews and a 4.8 customer satisfaction score to prove it. We'll keep working hard for you. I've spent this year advocating with lawmakers for better Medicare reimbursement, ensuring you always have the best access to medical supplies you need. From Idaho Falls to St. George, our 11 stores are your home for comfort. When you hear Alpine Home Medical, think of that best of state experience every single time. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Many of us not only are reflecting on the year past, but we're looking forward to the new year. And a great place to kick in the new year is at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. And of course, we're very lucky. We've got 2 locations. We've got Hotel Park City and downtown Salt Lake City at 275 South West Temple. Anticipate that special meal after everything calms down in early January. We all need a little bit of a boost, right? It's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Think of those delicious steaks that are served on that sizzling hot plate. And of course, there are other entrees as well, poultry, seafood, cooked to perfection. The side dishes are magnificent. And of course, before you start your New Year's diet, you might want to cash in on one of those wonderful desserts that awaits us at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. This is the time. Make your reservations now. Kick in the new year with Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill continuing to push the Trump administration for details on the military operations in Venezuela over the weekend. Congressional members from both sides of the aisle meeting with top White House officials last night. News Nation's Kristen Esco reports.
We've heard from a few of the lawmakers who were in the room for that classified briefing, including House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. And as they left, Republicans praised the Trump administration's actions in Venezuela and said they don't believe we'll see further U.S. military involvement going forward. But Democrats painted a different picture. They say they're concerned there's a lack of planning for Venezuela's future and there could be potential for extended conflict. Members of President Trump's cabinet, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, met with top lawmakers behind closed doors Monday night, days after the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
This is not a regime change. This is a demand for change of behavior by a regime.
After the classified briefing, House Speaker Mike Johnson said the U.S. is not occupying Venezuela and added he does not anticipate U.S. troops in Venezuela going forward.
We don't expect troops on the ground. We don't expect direct involvement in any other way beyond just coercing the interim government to get that going.
But Congressman Gregory Meeks, the top Democrat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, says he doesn't believe military involvement has been ruled out.
He has the option of putting troops on the ground. He's not going to take anything off the table. This is what the president has said. So I don't think that there was anything that was said differently.
Meeks and other Democrats say they're concerned the Trump administration doesn't have a plan for what comes next in Venezuela.
Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
Speaker Johnson says a briefing for all House lawmakers is set for Wednesday. We're also expecting a briefing for the full Senate this week. In Washington, I'm Kristen Eskow.
The effects of the U.S. military's action in Venezuela continue to be felt as more and more questions about the future of the country arise. Markets have reacted pretty positively to President Trump's announcement that American companies will be able to go in and fix and take over oil production in the South American country. But rebuilding Venezuela's energy infrastructure, it'll be quite the task for American oil companies. Jay Young is the founder and CEO of King Operating Corporations, an oil and gas exploration service based out of Texas. He joined Inside Sources this morning to share his thoughts on the Trump administration's plans, saying they are both doable and unrealistic.
I know a lot of people that have gone into foreign countries and try to get, they have so much money, they just pour money into a country and they can't get any money out. I asked a guy once, I said, hey, you guys went into Iraq in about, 3 or 4 years ago and you put in, $100 million. How much money have you gotten out? And they said, well, we haven't gotten our first check yet because the way the government is and the way now Trump could do differently in Venezuela. So I don't, now I will say this, it's not a, turn your faucet on and all of a sudden Venezuela goes from making 1 million to 3, 4, 5 million barrels a day and makes a big difference. So there's a lot to that. There's a tremendous amount of time, energy, money, infrastructure, people. It's not, we drilled a well in New Zealand one time and everybody on the rig had a college education, so it's not like you just go in and go, oh, okay, we have a lot of people here. Hey, go drill this well for me over here. And no, it's specialized. It's hard work. It takes a lot. It'll take a lot of money, so it's not a quick get rich quick thing. It's going to take a long time. George Bush did it with Iran back in the, back in the 90s. And we thought that there was going to be so much oil coming out of that country that we were just going to be, flying high, and then he took it from 1 million a day to 2 million a day. There's a lot of work to it.
Young says revamping and fixing oil production issues in Venezuela will be no easy task and that it will require a lot of people on the ground. He says that it might be a harder kind of sell getting Americans willing to go to Venezuela with the current political climate.
People, need to realize that it takes as many service companies, vendors, to drill an oil and gas well, to complete one, and especially the fracking, and to produce these wells as it takes to build a house. When you build a house, you've got a doorknob guy, you've got a carpet guy, you've got an audio guy. Same thing with oil and gas. You got so many different, and that means that they're going to have to increase the people over there. They're producing 1 million a day, but they haven't drilled any new wells in, so long. They've gone from 2.5, 3 million a day to 1 million. It's a lot of work. It's going to be a lot. Yeah, it may take 18 months if companies do. I wouldn't bet on it myself because of there's so many different questions about it, but I don't have the kind of money that public companies do either. So
Besides people and vendors, he's concerned about the costs that will be needed to get things updated and working.
Well, and the production's gone from 2.5 to 3 to a million. So they haven't done anything new. They haven't drilled wells. You got to bring a drilling rig in, right, to drill a well, and it costs you, $100 million a year for one rig, and it's like 100 people specialized in that. Or I'm sorry, it's 100 vendors specialized in drilling for oil and gas. And so you have to bring all those people in because they're not there, and you just don't put an ad in the paper. So you've got to really bring in those people, bring in all the services needed, and not to say it can't be done. And if there's anywhere to do it, if you have a favorable government, and because if you have a favorable government, which is what Trump is wanting to do, and he has the reserves there. Like I said, this country has more reserves. What y'all said, this has more reserves than any other place in the world, even Saudi Arabia. So the oil's there. It's just going to take a lot of people, infrastructure, oil and gas. You got to get it once you drill it and produce it. You got to get it out of there. So there's tanker trucks needed you got to build ports there to make sure that you increase it enough to get it out of there, because you're going to get paid for it somehow, and that's selling it, which means that you're going to have to export it.
Jay Young is a fourth-generation oil company CEO based in Texas, talking about the challenges facing oil companies as they look to rebuild oil infrastructure in Venezuela. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
A new specialty court to help veterans in Weber County starting up this week. The model of Veterans Court is not new to Utah. Other counties have created similar projects in the past. But it is a new opportunity to reduce recidivism among Weber County veterans who may be facing the troubles associated with returning home. Judge Craig Hall helps with that court and joined Inside Sources to explain what makes it so special.
Many people assume that it's just a regular court only for veterans, and it is not that. So, for example, in a criminal court, we have a prosecutor who wants a conviction and a sentence. On the other hand, we have a defense attorney who wants the precise opposite of what the prosecutor desires. It's a very adversarial process, and in the end, there's either an acquittal or a conviction. And if there is a conviction, then there's a sentence, and often incarceration for months or even years. But for Veterans Court, after a pretty rigorous screening process, if a veteran qualifies for and agrees to the program, the veteran typically enters a plea, usually a plea in abeyance. At that point, they begin the Veterans Treatment Court, which typically lasts between 18 and 24 months. The legal incentive for the veteran to join the program is if they graduate from the Veterans Court, the veteran can have their charges either reduced or possibly even dismissed. So it's a huge benefit to the veterans. It's something that we can do to help the veteran population. And like I said yesterday, it's just ironic that we've had these veterans courts throughout the state, but we have not had one close to Hill Air Force Base. If there's anywhere in the state that should have a veterans treatment court, it's here in Ogden next to Hill Air Force Base.
Judge Hall says he was hesitant to help out with the Veterans Treatment Court at first, but the more he got to know and understand the program, he felt he had to help out.
When this idea was brought up, the first thing that I thought to myself was, boy, I don't know if I really have the bandwidth to do this, because during the 4 years that I've been on the bench, I have never once, never thought to myself, boy, I need more things to do at work.
Right.
And so, but in the process of learning more about the Veterans Court treatment program, learning more about treatment courts in general, I just thought that, man, this is a wonderful thing to do and just has to happen up in the 2nd District. Right now, we have individuals that reside in the 2nd District that have to go to the 3rd District, have to go to Salt Lake County, or even have to go to Provo for the 4th District. And so we're just so grateful that we've been able to put together this program. It literally has been months in the making, and we're just excited that we're kicking it off here in the 2nd District.
He also says that the courts aren't easy to get into either. It takes a bit more work than people think.
So there is a pretty intense screening process. We are looking initially to have up to about 15 or so veterans. We only have a few right now. We actually started Veterans Court about a month ago, so we've had a couple of instances where we've had individuals come. Usually it starts with a conversation between the defendant veteran and the defense attorney about this particular option, and it takes some conversations between the defense attorney, the prosecutor, the VA gets involved in the screening process. The veteran has to understand exactly what is included in this intense program. Some people have the mistaken impression that Veterans Court is easier than probation. And in fact, it's probably harder than probation. It's more intensive, but it is so specialized for veterans. As you mentioned, the mentors, they're one of the most essential members of the court. The program recognizes that there are just some things that only veterans understand, and only veterans can provide a certain type of camaraderie, guidance, and accountability. You know, it's the person that they should feel comfortable confiding in or calling at 1 a.m. when something goes wrong. You know, they don't want to call law enforcement. They don't want to call the judge. It's that mentor who was also a fellow veteran. It's the key ingredient in the participant's success.
In the end, Judge Hall says the court is all about helping veterans find success. One Utah book owner getting quite the surprise during a recent visit with TV show Antiques Roadshow. Details on the unique find coming up after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic with Ricky Meese.
We do have crews still working this crash in Sandy, northbound I-15 by the mall, 106 South. But the good news is all vehicles have been moved out of traffic over to the right shoulder, so all lanes open, and we're waiting for the delays to clear out. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say.
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse because you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses.
Here it comes.
Shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth two in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Movie Show is at Minky Couture in Layton this Friday, January 9th from 11 to 1. Join KSL News Radio and Minky Couture and get special discounts and savings on your favorite Minky Couture products. Looking for something beautiful and cozy to add to your home these cold winter days? Minky Couture is the answer. Cozy, soft, a color for every room in your home, and always the best blanket ever with Minky Couture. The Minky Couture Valentine's Day collection is here. If you're a Minky Couture collector, you'll not want to miss out on this year's limited edition blankets. They're the perfect way to say I love you. Get yours today before they're gone. Save 55% this Friday only. For the Movie Show in Layton, use code MOVIE55 at minkycouture.com or at any of the 6 Minky locations. Again, join us this Friday at Minky Couture in Layton, 1782 Woodland Park Drive. They've got you covered this winter season at Minky Couture, home of the best gift ever. minkycouture.com. That's minkycouture.com.
Who is Farm Bureau Financial Services? At our core, we're relationship builders. We're home and auto bundlers, life insurers, farm and ranch protectors, and retirement planners. We're neighbors, community members, and friends. We're the people you can count on now and for years to come. Find a Farm Bureau agent at fbfs.com/protect. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company.
At Trio South Ogden, the best years aren't behind you. They're right here. Discover independent living services that embrace aging as an opportunity to lean in, not step back, to pursue passions, not retire from purpose. Here, life is bright, colorful, and unapologetically fun. Because aging doesn't mean changing who you are. It means having more time to be exactly who you are. Schedule your tour today at trioSouthOgden.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A popular TV series making a stop here in Salt Lake City, resulting in one lucky book owner discovering that they had a 6-figure book on their shelves. On last night's premiere of Antiques Roadshow, Ken Sanders, owner of Ken Sanders Rare Books in Salt Lake City, appraised the first edition copy of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien and was able to deliver the good news. Now, he spoke to KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson about the significance of this copy.
I know J.R.R. Tolkien. I have never personally been able to afford or sell a first edition Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. And yeah, of course, I knew immediately what it was. It's actually a very simple book. It's the British first edition, of course, and it's 1937. It's, you know, the Tolkien didn't write his. It took him 20 more years almost to finish his great Lord of the Rings trilogy. But this was the very first book of Middle Earth, and the British first edition is the one you want. He was an unknown, unpublished author. It started as a story time for his children. And it evolved out of that. And they, first of all, British first printings of books are far, far smaller than American first editions. Take J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter books. You know, that very first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, had a UK printing of 300 copies. The seventh book in the series had a 9 million copy first printing.
Sanders says the book was by no means in perfect condition, but simply finding a copy of that first printing, he says it was magical. He says this specific copy had something really unique too, a telltale sign that it was a first edition.
On the rear flap of the dust jacket at the back of the book, there is, they misspelled C.S. Lewis's name. He was a contemporary and friend of J.R.R. Tolkien's. And someone, not that, there's rumors Tolkien himself did it, but that doesn't make any sense. Some editorial grunt that worked at the publisher, somebody at the publisher went in and ink corrected the typo. The rumors that Tolkien himself did that, they make absolutely no sense to me. He wasn't a famous author then, but that's not something authors do. That's a publishing thing.
The owner was given the book by his grandmother, who bought it in London during World War II. And it came in, Becky Bruce, at $100,000.
Holy cow.
So my question is now, you have this book. They're apparently not going to be selling the book. What do you do with it?
As a book lover, I would be seriously conflicted about whether I sell that or keep that thing. I think I'd keep it.
$100,000?
Yeah, but what a rare thing to have. That's crazy.